High school football is on the air this evening live from Milt Risky Field on the campus of Cheyenne Central. Two longtime rivals battle it out in Class 4A action as the Central Indians host the Laramie Plainsmen. High school football on 1480 KRAE is being brought to you by our fine sports sponsors. Now, let's send it out to Risky Field as we get ready for tonight's contest between the Central Indians and the Laramie Plainsmen. Before kickoff, let's check in with our pregame show right here on 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. Welcome from Risky Field on the campus of Cheyenne Central, where tonight we honor the 1989 Indians championship team. So 30 years ago, it was a big night or a big season for the 1989 Central Indians team. They're going to come on out and cheer the current edition of the 2019 Cheyenne Central Indians, currently on a 2-game win streak. They're 2-2. They match up against the 1-3 Laramie Plainsmen. This is the traditional Cheyenne-Laramie rivalry that goes back many, many moons. Again, not to take anything away from East, not to take anything away from Cheyenne South, but this is how it all got started back in the days when it was just Cheyenne High School and the Laramie Plainsmen. So they go back many years, and for me, as I'm sitting here, this would be my 34th edition of watching Laramie and Cheyenne Central play.
This is my second.
You're just a rook.
Right.
Hey, tonight's game being brought to you by Arrow Moving and Storage, B&B Appliance and TV, Baskin-Robbins, Billy Adelman with the Laramie County Community College Flight Crew, the Bread Basket Bakery, Burns Insurance Company, Capital Lumber Company, Charles Schwab, Shine Auto Repair and Service, Chick-fil-A, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, First Education Federal Credit Union, Foot of the Rockies, Holiday Motors, High West Energy, First Tier Bank, Joe Ed Produce, Key of Cheyenne, LCCC and Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, the Injury Prevention Program. Larry Proietti along with Chris Polton, who is back with us this weekend, along with Nick Proietti, as Nick will be providing the live stream, which will be courtesy of YouTube and Periscope via Twitter. Again, radio side, you can hear at 1480 KRAE and 101.1 FM, and then, of course, we stream worldwide on the web at 1480krae.com. We also want to thank MHP, LLP, Lennox Auto Body, Little Philly, Mary's Mountain Cookies, Medicap Pharmacy, Meridian Trust, FCU, Merritt Plumbing and Heating, Page and Zach Lane, number 1 Properties, Pepsi of Cheyenne with our Pepsi scoreboard, Pete's Builders, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, the Gill Window Company, Wyoming Department of Transportation, and Kuzma Success Realty. Well, Chris, you missed out last week. We saw a very potent East offensive attack as they ran all over the South High Fighting Bison. But here, with all of the delays that we had at Risky Field, the Cheyenne Central Indians had more than enough to beat Campbell County.
Well, so what's funny about that is I was coming back from a middle school volleyball match in Laramie, and as I was coming back, by the time I got into my car and got home, I had already heard 2 different East touchdowns. So that's how, obviously, just in that short time span, that's how quick that the offense for East was able to ignite against South. And I think, you know, for South, they're going to take their lumps probably the rest of the year. As we were talking about before we got on here, just numbers. They just don't have numbers right now. That hurts them. And, of course, when you have Alex Soto out, that definitely hurts as well. And then as far as, you know, Laramie goes, you can kind of look at it right now as they have their whole squad out here. Maybe something a little bit of the same where they just don't have as many numbers as we're used to seeing for the Plainsmen.
And also, too, you know, they graduated some very good seniors from last year's program. So Clint Reed has some holes that he definitely needs to fill. They did pick up the early season win against Casper Kelly Walsh, and it's been tough sledding ever since. You know, you look at the schedule right now for Cheyenne Central. As we get ready to embark on our pregame show, and first and foremost, we will have our athletic director's report with Cheyenne Central AD Chad Whitworth coming up. But you look at the Indians' portion of the schedule right now, and with the win at Rock Springs, which I don't think any of us expected them to win at Rock Springs, they get the Campbell County win. Can they possibly win this one tonight, go on the road and beat KW? You're looking at from 2-2 to go 4-2. And we're seeing an Indians team that is much improved from when we saw them play against Sheridan.
They did. It seems like every single week, especially on offense, they just get more and more efficient. With the 1 week we saw them against Sheridan, they had trouble wrapping up Garrett Coons, the big running back, but it looks like they're starting to do a much better job with that. They did a great job against Rock Springs. Campbell County gave them some fits on the ground, but when you're up by as many points as they were, I think the final was like 44-13 or something like that. But when you're up as much, you'll tend to empty the bench a little bit. But for this Central team, for Coach Apodaca, you're getting better as each week goes by, and that's exactly what you would like to see out of your team.
And also for one quarterback, Dawson McClure, gets a little offensive line help back in the form of Aiden Miller. Miller was down with a hyperextended knee, but he was spelled by the sophomore who filled in for him here most recently. And again, I want to get all my notes together. T.J. Wilson, who took over for him. Wilson was a junior. But anyway, the point is Miller is back in, so that offensive line that was going to be the starting offensive line for the week one is now back in full force here coming up for this evening. And again, too, Dawson McCleary with a lot of targets to throw to. Corey Labatos, who is Cardo Labatos, who is just a stud in the backfield, and he does his thing defensively. I would leads the team in tackles too.
Leads Class 4A in tackles.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a much improved Indians team from what we saw back in week two. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll check in with our athletic director's report after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. Once again, it is our extreme pleasure to talk with Central Athletic Director Chad Whitworth. And since the vote by Laramie County School District No. 1 Board of Trustees, Chad, you're up first and foremost as we get a chance now to talk about softball coming into play at our three high schools. We've had you on Wyoming Sports Talk today, got your thoughts on it, but now that it's real, tell us a little bit what's going through your mind. I'm sure a lot of things like going on with Jerry as well as Mark Puev at Cheyenne South. We've got to get a lot done in a short period of time.
Yeah, no doubt. We've obviously been in discussion since that board meeting with the administration building and our administration at schools, kind of deciding, okay, what's the timeline going to look like? Most likely we would begin to hire coaches either, winter or spring of this school year. With it coming in next school year, but that gives them time to get the summer going and kind of get an interest of kids. But then you also got to order equipment and figuring out all the monetary issues. And I think that the district's done a great job of getting all of that ironed out. We may not, as ADs, yet know all of the details to where that's going to come from or how it's going to work, but knowing that the district's been working on it for a while and has a plan in place to help us, get it up and running and moving forward. And I think it's just an exciting time for, hopefully for the softball community, but for the female athletes in our school district.
Chad, again, you work very close with the Wyoming High School Activities Association. I'm venturing to say that a rule book is not in place for girls softball from the high school association, or do they have this all ready to roll and now it's just got to be passed along to all of the members that are going to be playing softball?
Well, we sat down and Jerry and Mark and I went up a couple of weeks ago with the communities who had already approved softball, because the thought process was that motion was going to come before our board, and if we approved it, they sort of wanted us to be able to weigh in and at least have a say or hear what the idea was. So what will probably happen at this point is they've laid out some of the ground rules, talking about length of season, when it's going to be, how many games you can play, sort of what that stuff looks like. I think what will happen is it'll go to the board. Normally these things have to go through 2 readings, but I venture to guess that, Ron maybe ask the board to go ahead and approve this on first reading so it can be in place so everybody kind of has an understanding of what will happen when it rolls in, not this coming up spring, but the following.
Let me ask you this question, too. And again, I've had the opportunity to drive by all 3 of the schools, obviously doing football games for South and East, along with Cheyenne Central. And I'm looking at land space. And I know I'm talking years in the future, Chad, because, heck, I don't know if we're going to be around to see that come to fruition. But is that something also in the back of your mind, along with Jerry and Mark, that, hey, maybe we want our own complex as opposed to doing the Converse or even Brimmer sites?
Well, and I think that's something that'll come up. I think it would be tough. Certainly looking at our footprint here, I think it would be really tough to do. Obviously, we might be able to do it using our practice field and taking away some of that, which would be a possibility. But I also think that maybe the thought process would be to build a district complex somewhere that would be ours, but maybe not necessarily on our campuses. But like you said, that's a ways down the road. I mean, I think right now I really hope and look forward to getting this established and hoping that this is something that much like, people were talking about soccer, they sort of compared this, and I think we sort of talked about it on the radio, on your show when I was on, is I think they're thinking once it gets going, more and more communities are going to add it. And right now, we're going to have one classification, but who knows what 2 years brings or 3 years brings where it gets bigger and bigger. And then now all of a sudden, and I think those things like, are we going to have an on-campus facility or are we going to have a district facility somewhere will be determined. But, I certainly think it makes sense for us at some point, if we can do it financially, to have a district either complex or facilities that we sort of manage and run and have access to when we need it.
Final thought on the softball situation. And again, now that it is passed by Laramie County School District No. 1 Board of Trustees, have you, along with Jerry and Mark, had that opportunity to talk with Dr. Brown about actual finances? Because like you mentioned, you have to get a coach in place and buy equipment. Has numbers been thrown about yet that will be added to each of the athletic directors' budgets?
It certainly a number was not given to us, at least not. We, like I said, we met earlier this week and went over a couple of different things, but a number wasn't talked about. But I know that Mr. Bartlett and the school board and the finance department, at the district has come up, and they have some different ways and things that they're going to do to get this, because obviously what we're dealing with is a huge initial cost to get this up and running, and then it's going to be the cost to sustain it. But yeah, I don't know what the number is, Larry, honestly, but I do know that they have the number and they have an idea of how we're going to go about getting this implemented.
And final thought, things going on at Cheyenne Central, and it's always nice to put out some prompts to your student athletes for some of the sports that have wrapped up here during the summer, fall season. Of course, football is starting to ramp up a little bit under Coach Apodaca as we get ready to do the contest against the Laramie Plainsmen. But you had some really good performances with the summer and fall student athletes in the other sports.
Yeah, our tennis, Central High School, and really with the help of East and South, we hosted the regional tennis tournament, and our tennis teams, Central's tennis teams, won both the regular season boys and girls and the tournament titles. Cross country's winding down, but they're off to a great year, or off to a great start and having a good year. Volleyball's in Casper this weekend. Swimming, I think, is up in Sheridan. We've just got people all over the place. Golf wrapped up. Ethan Cates had a great state tournament, and we're proud of him. He finished second in the state tournament in Gillette in golf. So a lot of great things, a lot of great things going on with the youth of all of our schools. And we hope people can get out and support everybody in all 3 high schools.
Cheyenne Central Athletic Director Chad Whitworth joining us on our pregame show. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. It's time now for the Mountain West Conference schedule. On tap for tonight at Falcon Stadium at the Air Force Academy, the Falcons will play host to San Jose State in Mountain West Conference action. On tap for tomorrow, New Mexico Lobos will be on the road in Lynchburg, Virginia, as they'll take on Liberty College. Utah State will entertain Colorado State in Mo West action. The Wyoming Cowboys will be back at home at War Memorial Stadium to entertain the UNLV Rebels. Fresno State is on the road at Las Cruces, New Mexico, as they'll be taking on the New Mexico State Aggies in non-conference action. And the Nevada Wolfpack at Mackey Stadium in Reno, Nevada will entertain the Hawaii Rainbows. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have our opposing coach segment coming up right here on 1480 KRAE. Right now, it's our pleasure to talk with our opposing coach for this evening, and that being head coach Clint Reed of the Laramie Plainsmen. Coach, real quick before we get into the text of our conversation, let's talk about prior to the Week 0 football game. How were the numbers for your kids coming out?
You know, as the summer rolls around, we're not always sure who's going to show up and who's not, but it wasn't too bad. You know, we were in the mid-60s right there. So we had some decent competition spread out all over the field, trying to create opportunities for people. But at the same time, you know, some injuries and different things as the season's rolled on, it's hurt our numbers a little bit. You know, we're struggling with some youth there, as I think a few schools are around the state, you know, maintaining some of those freshman, sophomore JV games. But overall right now, I think gotten through our bumps and bruises. And as we get into this week, we're starting to get some more bodies back, which is a good thing.
You know, it's always tough as a head coach, especially on the high school side, because you always graduate a great class of seniors, and then the underclassmen try to step in and replace those positions that you had last year with these seniors. But as you look at some of your skill positions this year, you had some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, we did. You know, as Brady Epper left at receiver, Jansen Adair stepped in real nice. You know, he was a guy that was in our plans the last couple of years but had some injuries. But he's really come to play and really excited about his senior year. Upton at quarterback, you know, as he leaves, we slide in Garrett Dodd in the competition with Jake Vegan. So a little bit better of a passing situation, but, you know, the competitor and Jason and the running ability and dual threat was amazing for us last year. Baxter Tuggle's another one, you know, great running back for us. But we've got a couple guys in Isaac Sell and Colter Nunn that, you know, are filling his shoes nicely. You know, we're still working up front with the line and getting some execution up there. And, you know, getting Jamin Livingston and Calvin Webb was nice getting back, but losing Ben Kruzik up front was huge, you know, offensively and defensively. So we're growing and we're young and we're learning. So hopefully we'll just get better as the season goes along.
You know, Coach, I've been around for a long time here, and I've seen Laramie football for some 30-plus years. And, you know, I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. And you know, you look at the situation with the Plainsmen taking on Cheyenne Central, and this rivalry, the old-fashioned rivalry, Laramie versus Cheyenne High School, is that rivalry still in play? Do you still kind of ramp that up to the kids this weekend?
We try to, you know. It's just talking to settle over here in our radio a little bit, you know, going back to, I think you said about 1909. And it is something that we bring up. You got to have those rivalries. Anytime you play a team over the hill, they think of Cheyenne as a rivalry. You know, these guys don't know the history because, you know, they see East and South sitting over there too. But as coaches know the rivalry, we understand it. We understand what it is to play Central, and so it becomes a big deal to us. And so we try to bring it up as the week goes along.
You know, after the win against Kelly Walsh back in Week 0, you know, you've had your struggles, but your team finds ways to get into the end zone However, the defense needs to get shored up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something about high school football. You want to be able to have some consistency, and we're struggled a little bit with that consistency, some execution and some discipline there. Young guys, that's what you're always trying to preach to them with that philosophy. Big plays seem to arise for multiple teams, and keeps them in games, and that's what's given us some points once in a while. But we need to have some, ball possession. We need to have some sustained drives. And then, as you mentioned, defensively, we need to be able to bend a little bit but not break and prevent the big plays and keep everything in front of us. So we got a big challenge in front of us, with Central, big passing team. So, again, we got to get back and get in our pedal and keep everything in front of us and not let any big plays over the top.
I'm glad that you mentioned with Central being a passing team. As a head coach and obviously with your defense assistants, this offense, again, not so much just run and shoot, but they pose a lot of nightmares.
Yeah, they can. They've got a versatile guy, 9. I'm a numbers guy as a math teacher here, but, you got number 9 out there who's just versatile, talented kid that can do everything. You've got, big 87 there. He can just hop and get up in size and get position on people. You got 20 even run the ball, and, of course, 11 slinging it around. And you got to count for 20 defensively too. So, it is. They're going to be spread out. They're going to be all over, and we've got a big challenge in front of us.
When you get to this part of the season, Coach, especially with your team, and again, it stands at 1-3 right now. Have you pretty much inserted all of the plays in the playbook? Is your team right now operating at that max playbook position?
At this time, we've got a lot of our plays in. We slowly start tweaking, as personnel dictates situations for games and who we're matched up against. We'll adjust some formations here and there, take advantage of some situations, I think, like any team schemes. And everybody, likes to come up with little things, to tweak during the week. What can we take advantage in the red zone or the goal line? What can we do, if our back's against the wall as far as plays goes, things that maybe not are necessarily always in the daily practices stuff. So we're always constantly tweaking and working on those things, probably like anybody else.
And final thought, Coach, again, with the 3 consecutive losses, and, usually it takes about 2, maybe 3 wins to qualify for the playoffs. And I know you play them one game at a time. We know the old cliche on that. But do you always play, when you step onto the field this Friday, is it a call to arms, so to speak, that, hey, every game right now is we just can't afford to lose anymore?
No, you're right. When you look at it as a coach, you analyze and you think about how the season will play out. It's not as a head coach too. You're looking at this game, you're looking at this season, you're also thinking about the future and developing kids. So you constantly got a whirlwind in your mind, and this is extremely important. It really is, because while you're sitting down here, Rock Springs and Campbell County Central, us, this, the 1-3s and the 2-2s in the league, you're also fighting for tiebreakers at the bottom. So right now, and every game counts. The seeding counts. If you want a chance to playoffs and you want to get some tiebreakers there to allow you some better position to set yourself up. So in that way, it's very important, and let everybody know that.
Once again, thank you to Laramie Plainsmen head coach Clint Reed. We're back after this timeout on 1480 KRAE. Right now we're talking with Central head coach Mike Apodaca. Coach, since we last had you against the Sheridan Broncs, well, a couple of good things have happened. A win on the road against Rock Springs and a win most recently against Campbell County at Milt Risky Field. Let's talk about the improvement from that Sheridan game over the last couple of games. And again, of course, the one that I didn't pencil in as a win, but you picked up there at the Tigers Den in Rock Springs. It tells me that this team is starting to put it all together.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that we've been trending the right way since that Thunder Basin game. Even against Sheridan, I thought, we at least closed the gap a little bit, made it a competitive game against a quality team, and then we're able to parlay that into a big win against Rock Springs where, going on the road and having a little adversity. We did some really good things and seemed to fight, ourselves, the officials a little bit. But, the kids handled the adversity of it and came away with a big one. And that springboard to these kids after a big win, because there hasn't been a lot of them, how they're going to respond against Campbell. And I'm really proud of the first half especially. And just kind of dominated that game in the first half. So, we're heading the right way.
Let's talk about your ball club right now. When we talked before the Sheridan game, and even when we had you on our Wyoming Sports Talk Today program during the summer, the line was going to be your concern. Well, offensively, you've worked magic as far as for Dawson now that he can roll out of the pocket and throw on the run. But it seems like your line is starting to come together. The young guys with the veterans.
They are. We had a little bit of injury after week one, and so we've kind of been messing with different guys through that. But Aiden Miller's back this week, and he provides what I think is even a better protection person out there. So they've really come together, and what you like to see is when linemen start owning that interior, owning the position, and I think they're taking a lot of pride in what they do. And I think if we can keep Dawson upright and open some holes up for Carter, I think we're tough to defend. And so I like the way those guys have progressed.
It's interesting, too, with your offense, and what I really enjoy about your offense, first off, Lobatos is a good running back. He's very strong, but you probably are blessed with a great stable of receivers. Talking about Johnson, we're talking about Talich and the Storbo twins. You've got a lot of weapons on the offensive side with specialists right now that pose a lot of problems for defensive teams. This
offense is really predicated on the ability to spread the ball around, and when you have guys that can catch out in the perimeter, it really does make it tough to defend, and especially with a young line. I don't think we're going to mow over anybody up front, but all of a sudden, if you're taking defenders out of the box, it opens up some run lanes. So I think it does really make teams decide what they want to defend, and whatever they do choose, we've got to make sure we expose that other area that's open, and in the last few games, I think we've done that pretty well.
Coach, not to age you or myself, but again, your natural rival from the old days, and we're talking about the Laramie Plainsmen. Yeah, we know Cheyenne East has been a crosstown rival for quite some time, but this is the original rivalry, the Laramie Plainsmen. Do you put stock in that when you're telling your kids to get amped up for this game?
Absolutely. We've talked about it because, as you mentioned, Larry, that, back when I was playing, it was the game, and really kind of dictated who was going to make the playoffs when only one, two teams made it back in those days. And so, just the natural part that I have with it. But more importantly, we've talked to the kids a lot about, the last 3, 4, 5 years where, we struggled to beat them. We've had fairly close games. We had one last year where we were had a big margin out of halftime and let it slip away. And that's kind of been the song and dance the last couple of years. And this is a really critical game for us to continue to get on the upswing. And we got to find a way to beat a team that we haven't in the last few years. So, we've talked about it a lot.
You look back finally here on our pregame show, you look back at Laramie's win against Casper Kelly Walsh. They can score points, but defensively they're not that sound right now. But the thing is, they're an enigma team to me. I just can't figure them out. They got to be a coaching nightmare for you.
That's exactly what I've explained to the kids. They're a little bit quirky, for lack of a better word, in terms of, they seem to be going a lot of places, but that, quirkiness leads them to a lot of things too. They run to the football well defensively. They've got, good athletes, good speed, that sort of thing. And, they're kind of just flying around out there. And so sometimes, especially offensively, just kind of pinpoint what they are, where they're going to be can be a challenge. So we've really just communicated to our kids that we've got to stay within our game plan and not let that chaoticness, for lack of a better word, dictate, the pace or the speed of the game. And so we spent a lot of time on that this week.
Central Indians head coach Mike Apodaca. We'll be back with more after this timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. This weekend, in Class 4A football, in addition to our contest at Risky Field, Cheyenne Central playing host to the Laramie Plainsmen, it will be the battle for the Razor City, and it will be at Campbell County High School as the Campbells will host the Thunder Basin Bolts. The East High Thunderbirds on the road to take on the powerful Natrona Mustangs at Cheney Alumni Field. Casper Kelly Walsh on the road. They'll pay a visit to Sheridan at Homer Scott Field. And for the Rock Springs Tigers, they're on the road. They'll have a date with the South High Fighting Bison at Fighting Bison Stadium. After this timeout, we'll come back with tonight's starting lineups after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. Back to Milt Risky Field, Larry Proietti, along with Chris Polton, the Laramie Plainsmen, who are donning the travel white uniforms with the maroon numerals with the gold outline. They will kick off. They won the toss, so they defer to the second half. They will defend the west goal for this evening. Central in the home red uniforms with the white numeral, the red helmets with the nice headdress trim on the helmets. So they will receive to get things underway. So let's go to the offensive unit for Cheyenne Central. I did make a mistake earlier, but we'll get that corrected right now. The tackles will be Mark Martinez. He's 6 foot, 192 and a junior. He'll be joined on the left side by Aiden Miller. He's 5'5", 161 and a junior. The right guard is Joey Kostaleski. He's 5'11", 180 and a junior. And the left guard will be TJ Wilson. He's 5'10", 245 and a junior. And in the middle will be Jimmy Koenig. He is a 5'11", 236 junior. The one that is going to be stepping down, going just one way, will be Tanner Bullock. He'll be on the defensive side. For the Central Indians in the backfield, quarterback will be Dawson McCleary. He's 6'2", 180 and a senior, and he'll be joined by Carter Labatos, 5'11", 170 a junior. On the wings, it'll be Nathaniel Talich. He's 6'2", 156 and a sophomore. He's joined by Andrew Johnson, 6 foot, 155 and a junior. and your tight ends, and one can always be the wideout too. We'll give Brock Storbo the wideout, as he's 6'5", 234 and a junior, and the tight end Brady Storbo, 6'5", 234, and he's also a junior as well. We'll take a 30-second timeout. We'll come back. We'll set up the Plainsmen defense after these words here on 1480 KRAE. Polton has the Plainsmen defense. They're 1-3 on the campaign, and how are they going to line up tonight?
Coach Clint Reed and his 4-3 defense in the middle. It will be number 54, Julian Cortez, 5'11", junior. And then on the other defensive tackle will be number 73, Joseph Campsey, 5'11", senior. On the defensive end spots, number 55, as the numbers are James Livingston, a senior, 5'11", and number 66, Calvin Webb, a 6-foot senior. Their linebackers will be number 25, Colton Nunn, in the middle. He's a 5'8", junior. The outside linebackers, number 31, Graham Jocks. He's 5'11", and a sophomore. And the other linebacker, Caleb Eaton, number 11, 5'11", and a senior. The corners will be number 3, Jackson Devine, a sophomore, 5'10", and the other corner will be number 33, Connor Kilpack. He's a senior at 5'8". The safeties, number 1, Jansen Adair, a senior at 6'2", and the other safety is Isaac Sell, 5'9", junior, and that's the base 4-3 defense for Laramie tonight.
And again, too, you know, when they get on the offensive side, you'll see Garrett Dodd. He's the junior quarterback. Again, they're going to try to put the football in the air. They're going to test Cheyenne Central's secondary this evening. If there is a spot that might be tested, would be that central secondary. So again, that's going to put some pressure on that front lineup for the Central defensively. They're going to have to bust through and put some pressure on Dot. David Tangeman has it teed up at the 40-yard line. We're about ready to get things underway from Risky Field. Friday night lights here in Cheyenne. Again, two old-time rivals, 2-2 Central, 1-3 Laramie, as we are ready to get things underway. Back deep. And the kick is off and ends up in the hands. It looks like he'll drop it in the end zone. He'll pick it up, and it'll be a touchback as he dropped it at the 2-yard line. Then it trickled into the end zone, so it'll be first down and 10 for the War Tribe at the 20-yard line.
A high school specific rule there, too, is even though he had touched it in front of the end zone, because it went into the end zone after, probably a fortunate break for Central, as it took Talich a minute to pick that up.
Well, and again, too, yeah, like you said, that's the high school rule. In the pros, you got to go back and fish it out and bring it out. I think in college it's also dead as well, too. So it'll be first down and 10 for the Indians, as it will be McCleary, again, operating out of the gun. Lobata's a couple yards behind him. In motion will be Storbo, as they will fire. And on the fire up, they'll hit Brady Storbo. Brady Storbo will make the grab, and it'll be a first down for Cheyenne Central at the 32-yard line.
Quick 12-yard pop between McCleary and Storbo. You're going to be hearing that a lot, with two Storbos out there tonight.
Trips out on top with Talich to the near side. Again, out of the gun for Cheyenne Central is McCleary. McCleary will fire it again. He's got a man. This time, this is Brock Storbo. Storbo makes the grab at the 45 down to the 46.
It's kind of just an extension of their kind of run-pass option deal. McCleary does a great job looking down the field and sees Storbo wide open across the middle.
This is more of that West Coast type of offense that Central has been showing here as of late. Again, it'll be Johnson out on top along with Brock Storbo. To the near side will be Talich along with Brady Storbo. Back to pass again goes McCleary. Steps, throws, he got a man. That's Johnson. Johnson midfield into Plainsman territory down to the 47-yard line. And Central moving the football rather easily via the air against the Plainsmen.
And they're moving fast, too. I'm having a hard time keeping up, counting the yards all together, as he's now hit 3 different receivers. To start has Dawson McCleary.
And Central will come up to the line of scrimmage again. No huddle offense. as they will line it up here as McCleary will give it off to Labatos. Labatos breaks free into about the inside the 40-yard line. Looks like around the 38. So a pickup of 9 for Labatos. So
and he was
nice
untouched.
quick hit.
Yeah, untouched too through that first level, Larry. So a good job there by the front 5 to get a good push on the point of attack.
Second down and 1 right now for the Indians as McCleary will step back, throw a couple steps as it'll be picked up by Johnson. Johnson will make the grab at the 33-yard line, so it'll be another first down for Cheyenne Central.
2 catches already for Johnson.
They'll say the 34, so spot on the hash mark to the far side. Central going right to left across your radio dial. As again, it's McCleary operating out of the gun as Labatos stands right behind him. This time they'll hand off to Labatos. Labatos first down and more. 25 to the 20-yard line, and it'll be another first down for Cheyenne Central. I'll tell you what, they are surgically dissecting the Plainsmen here on this first drive.
And Labatos finishing off that run, lowering his shoulder on Johnson or on Adair in the safety back there, and he just plowed him over at that 20-yard line.
Ball right now at the 21 for Cheyenne, at the Plainsman 21-yard line. Central first down and 10, as now they will go over to the coaching staff as they'll change up the play. And as McCleary lets everybody know the change, as he'll take the snap, back to pass. Coming back for it is Johnson to the 10, and he will be down at the 11-yard line, so it'll be close to a first down. So coming back on that wide receiver screen, get it like that.
Great timing, too, because both Storbos plowed the way, and for McCleary, he put it right where he needed to because Storbo had to come back to get the initial guy who was trying to jump the route.
Spotted at the 12, give him 9 on the catch and run. Of course, it was like a 1-yard catch and 8-yard jack after it was all said and done. So second down and 1, hash mark to the far side, and back to pass again goes McCleary. Steps, he throws into the end zone, and touchdown by Johnson. So Andrew Johnson makes the grab, and Central draws first blood. 9:18 on the Pepsi scoreboard on the 12-yard touchdown pass from Dawson McCleary to Andrew Johnson.
Just surgical, Larry, through that first bit. Perfect 6 for 6 on the drive by Dawson McCleary. A great start.
On to attempt the PAT for Cheyenne Central will be Tegan Tippett, so he will wait for the snap back. Placement is down, kick is up through the uprights, and good. Central 7 and Laramie nothing. We'll be back after the 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Has it teed up at the 40-yard line. Adair is back deep for the Plainsmen, and it will end up, it looks like, in the hands at the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35-yard line. Nice return on the Plainsman side by Connor Kilpack.
Yeah, Kilpack found a lane and he hit it right away, which is so crucial on a kick return. You don't want to do a lot of zigzagging. You got to find your lane and go after it and commit to it, and Kilpack did right there.
So good field position for the Plainsmen as they'll open up business on their own 36-yard line here. 9:18 for the Cheyenne Central Indians, so it only took them 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Let's get to the Plainsman with Dodd right now, and he'll hand it off to his first back through, and he'll be wrapped up around the 40-yard line. So for the Plainsman, on the run was Kohler Nunn.
Yeah, Nunn's their main guy out of the backfield. He's going to get a lot of carries. For this Laramie team that does like to typically pass it, they will run it out of the kind of use Nunn as their play action guy, so they have to oppose early, at least make it look like they're going to commit it to the run.
So on a second down, and we'll call it a 6, back to pass goes Dodd. He'll set up for the screen and almost overshoots his receiver, but dropped by Johnson at the 42-yard line. That will again be Nunn.
Good job there by Johnson, and it looks like that's number 58 out there. Kostelecki, they did a good job reading the screen and didn't really cut that play down in a hurry for no gain, it looks like.
Well, actually, they got up to the 41, so we'll call it now a 3rd down and 5 for the Plainsmen, as Dodd will operate out of the gun once again. In motion will come Sell, and back to pass goes Dodd. Dodd under heavy rush. He's flushed out. He's rolling to his left side, and he will be dropped at the 40-yard line, so he'll be sacked for the yard loss back to the 40. And nice job on the Central defensive side to flush him out.
Yeah, that's great pursuit by Tanner Bullock. As you had said, he was playing one way tonight, so he's going to have a lot of energy on defense, and a quick 3-and-out now for Laramie. A good first possession for Central D.
So we'll have Talich along with Johnson. They will drop back for Cheyenne Central, and dropping back in deep pump formation will be David Tangeman for the Plainsmen. He will stand back around his 25-yard line. It was windy earlier. We see the flags blowing, so it should be behind Tangeman if he could put a foot into it. As he will get the snap back, and he will boot it away. It looks like it's going to go out of bounds. I think Central's going to come away with some good field position, because that one was bad from the get-go. As they mark it off, look at this. Holy cow. 45-yard line, only a 15-yard punt. And he had the wind behind him.
He did. Well, it's kind of a shank, and you see the line judge over there, you know, that old game, the Price is Right game, the Hangman game.
Yeah.
It's like kind of, you just hear that music as he keeps going and keep going.
Yeah. No thanks. Too late in the night for that. Earlier we had found out that South, as they had the 6 o'clock game, was trailing 14-0 to Rock Springs. We'll keep you updated on that score. That was early in that contest. 1st down and 10, back to pass goes McCleary. McCleary steps up, got a man. That's going to be caught by Brady Storbo. Storbo right at midfield. He'll stretch forward to the 50 as he will stretch out that 6'4" frame and pick up 5 on that reception. McCleary perfect, 7 of 7 thus far.
63 yards and a touchdown already for Dawson McCleary, who's the 2nd best passing quarterback behind one Graydon Buell on the season.
Hash mark to the near side as, again, McCleary will fake the handoff, and he'll go this time again to, is that Brady? That'll be Brady Storbo making the grab. So Storbo will have the 1st down at the 44-yard line of the Plainsmen, and Central again in business.
Well, you saw it in the Wyoming Tribune today about the Storbo twins, how they use them as an extension of the run game. That's a kind of that extension they're talking about, that quick pass to the outside, get them in space and let them do their work.
In motion this time will be Johnson from right to left. As back to pass goes McCleary. He's under a heavy rush. He'll throw it away. He dumps it off. I think it is caught across the way, and that's going to be caught by Brady Storbo.
What a great job by Storbo, keeping McCleary clean on the pass attempts there. Now 9 for 9 to start. And kind of like looked like he was throwing it away. It turned into an 8-yard gain.
And he actually came back for it, too. He saw that McCleary was under the gun, and McCleary with that strong rifle got it to him. 2nd down, and we'll call it 2 at the 36-yard line of the Plainsmen. As McCleary again will drop back into the gun. Lobatos behind him, and they'll fake the handoff to Lobatos. He'll step up, throw, and it's going to be picked off. And it's going to be picked off by the Plainsmen, as picking it off is Graham Jacques. So in the right place at the right time, as McCleary tried to force one in the linebacking core there, and Jacques was standing there, picked it off, and they're going to have good field position at the 32-yard line.
Just trying to force a little too much there, Larry. You saw Storbo deep, just couldn't get it high enough over the outstretched arms of Jacques.
Well, Sam Lee made that all possible, because Lee came in under that heavy rush as McCleary shrugged him off, but unfortunately rushed the pass First down and 10 now for Dodd, as he will have Kilpack in motion and some movement in the backfield, and that'll stop the play right away. It looked like that none moved. He saw Kilpack, going in motion, then he made one step back before Dodd got the football.
Our first flag, last time we were together, Larry, at this point, we'd already had, maybe 7 or 8 penalties in that game we had against South and Kelly Walsh.
We had a shower of hankies that night.
And here, this is our first one at the 5:29 mark here in the first quarter.
Central leading 7-0 as they opened up with an 80-yard drive that only took 2 minutes and 42 seconds. First down to 15 now for the Plainsmen in motion. This time it's Kilpack, and they'll give it to him on the fly sweep as Kilpack tries to get a couple of yards. And if he does anything, he may got a yard.
Good job there by the outside containment of Central. Carter Labatos leading the way. We'll be saying his name a lot, whether it's on offense or defense.
Right.
And there, Labatos making his name for himself on defense.
So they're going to say no gain, back to the 27-yard line, so it'll be second down and 15 right now. Trips out on top for the Plainsmen as Adair is to the near side. And back as Dodd right now is, he'll hand it off to the lone back. That'll be Isaac Sell. Sell trying to get outside. He's strung out and maybe to the 30-yard line. We'll give him the 29, and it will be a third down. We're going to call it 13 right now at the 29.
One thing to look at, Larry, too, especially as we're on the near side here, is the matchup of Johnson and Adair. Adair, one of the top receivers in the Class 4A, and you got Johnson, who is slowly becoming one of the better cover corners in the game, as well as they do a lot of one-on-one matchup.
In between the 29 and 30, so we'll call a third down and a long 12, and Dodd is back to pass. Plenty of time. He's sacked. A fumble, and the ball is loose, picked up by the Indians, and all the way in for the touchdown is Cheyenne Central. Picking it up, Nate Lundberg for Cheyenne Central, as he'll take it the distance. About a 20-yard line, did he pick up that ball?
Yeah, 20-yard fumble recovery return, picked it up clean. The only person he had to get around was the official. Lundberg was able to get around him, and it was pay dirt the rest of the way.
Oh, I mean, they came through on Dodd. Dodd never even had a chance to even step back on his back foot and get ready to throw that thing. Tippett will be on to attempt the PAT for Cheyenne Central. It will be out of the hold of Johnson as the snap is back. Placement is down. Kick through the uprights and good. Central 14, Laramie nothing. 4:02 to go. First quarter on the Pepsi scoreboard. Back after the 60-second timeout.
College has been something that's always been on the back of my mind.
This is where I found what I wanted, one of my passions, what I really love to do.
In class, I feel more engaged.
The people here do care about you, and they want to help you succeed in life.
They make it so easy to be a parent and be able to still go to school.
I like the way I'm improving.
I love being, part of the WHSAA family, and I'm glad I made this step in my life.
Teed up at the 40-yard line, high end over end, picked up by Kilpack at around the 11 to the 15, trying to get outside to the 20 in front of the Plainsman bench as he will be driven down. I'm going to give him the 27, if that. Let's see if the officials will agree with me, because there's a lot of white jerseys there in front of us.
That's a good eye. It looks like he's going to place it right on the in between. He looked like he was going 27, then he went 28.
Got him to the 28-yard line, so it'll be first down at 10 for the Plainsmen.
Halftime at Fightin' Bison Field. Rock Springs up 29-0 over the Fightin' Bison.
So Travis Judd is split out on top again in the backfield for the Plainsmen. Will again be none as Dodd operates out of the gun. First down and 10. Ball on the 28-yard line. Back to pass goes Dodd. He's got Adair, and he'll overshoot him out of bounds and incomplete.
Adair had Johnson beat him right off the line. Johnson with the press coverage. A better ball thrown by Dodd there. And not only is Adair got to have a big play, but if he hits him in stride, he's gone for, and it's 73-yard touchdown.
And I think Nunn sold that really good, too, because Nunn kind of stepped a couple steps, and Johnson might have had his eye on Nunn and kind of took his eye off Adair. So Adair, luckily for Cheyenne Central, that pass was incomplete. Hand off this time to Nunn. Nunn goes nowhere. He'll get a yard on the play to the 29. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
That's Tanner Bullock once again in there, and we think Tanner Bullock was the one that caused the fumble on that strip sack fumble recovery touchdown.
That Lundberg took the distance, 20 yards. So it will be 3rd down and long for the Plainsmen, 3:20 on the Pepsi scoreboard, as Dodd right now operates out of the gun, and he will roll to his left. He'll step up, he'll throw, and overthrow everybody. Closest to the football was Sell. That would have been Isaac Sell, but that was probably about 5 yards off his reach.
Well, and again, Dodd has 0 time. They tried to move the pocket this time and move it towards where Bullock's coming from, and he just has no time to throw the ball. His receivers can't get out in their breaks, and right now the time is just off for Dodd and his offense.
So back deep will be Nathaniel Talich, the sophomore, the junior, Andrew Johnson for Cheyenne Central. Last time Tangeman did not get a good kick as he shanked it for 15 yards. He's back deep at around his 15-yard line. So Central again should technically come out with good field position. There's a little breeze behind Tangeman. Central looks like they're going to come after it, and they will get the punt away. Tangeman, it'll be a fair catch call, and it's caught by Talich. Nice job. And give Nathaniel Talich all his due on that one, because he got bumped into by Adair, and he still kept his concentration on that football. I give that sophomore a lot of kudos on that one.
Yeah, a lot of distraction in the area, and whether you call it fair catch or not, when you hear footsteps, they're still footsteps. So good job on him and keeping the concentration. Now for Dawson McCleary, that was his 8th interception, probably the one thing
bugaboo that he's had,
so that is the interceptions. He has 12 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. If as a quarterback, you'd like at very worst a 2-to-1 ratio, and he's obviously under that right now.
Central, 1st down and 10, hash mark to the near side as they're going right to left across your radio dial. McCleary again operating on the gun. This time we'll give it off to Lobatos. Lobatos goes as he cuts it back. Nice job. He first went off tackle, then came back inside, and he will be in near the 50-yard line. I think he's got the 1st down, that's for sure, and probably 12 on the run.
Well, Lobatos has seen a lot more opening than at least when we saw them against Sheridan and probably any other week. He's getting a lot of gaps inside his line and is doing a great job opening holes for Lobatos.
So 1st down and 10 for Cheyenne Central on the 49-yard line of the Ward Tribe. McCleary back to pass, couple steps up, fires it out. He's got Brady Storbo. Storbo 50 down to the 41-yard line of the Plainsmen. So another grab for Brady Storbo.
It's going to be another quick hitter out to the right side, another high percentage throw by
Check this, Brock Storbo.
I think at this point we'll just go Storbo, and then we'll let people guess at home.
No. I don't want to do that.
I'm just kidding. What's funny too is you see their pictures without their helmets on. You have a hard time telling who's who.
So 1st down and 10 for Central, as they're at the 41-yard line. Oh, check that, 2nd down and 1. I'm sorry, as I thought he had enough for the 1st down. McCleary rolls to his left as he will keep it himself, and he will stumble forward. He'll have the 1st down as he will bring it down to the 39-yard line of the Plainsmen. Well, I'll tell you what, pressure broke through on the Plainsmen side defensively, and McCleary saw just a little opening to get him the 1st down. So Central with a fresh set of downs at the 39-yard line of the Plainsmen.
And McCleary does not take off a lot. He actually has negative rushing yards on the season, so a rare run there for Dawson McCleary.
McCleary to Lobatos breaks through. He's got a big hole to the 25-yard line, and he will fight his way to the 20, still on his feet, and then a late flag comes in. There's a couple flags, and I think there might be some extracurricular activity against Cheyenne Central.
Well, Lobatos not looking to juke Adair, looking to run right through him, and maybe Adair took exception to that this time.
So the ball's at the 20-yard line, so a big run by Lobatos, and they're going to mark it off against the Plainsmen. So it'll be the incidental face mask kind.
As we were talking about that before we had started, came on.
Yeah, we're seeing more of the 5-yard version than the old 15-yarder. They're kind of, it's like a lot of the kids right now are not that aggressive as back in our day, so to speak.
Right.
First down at the 15-yard line. In motion this time will come Johnson from right to left. Back to pass goes McCleary. He steps up. He wants it all in the end zone, and he will overshoot Brock Storbo. Storbo cannot catch up to it as McCleary ends up on his wallet after the throw, so it'll be incomplete.
Yeah, I think if McCleary had just a half a second more for Storbo to clear out into the corner, it would have been a much better a chance for Storbo to make the play, but McCleary had to throw it a little bit quick because of the pressure.
So it'll be second down and 10. Clock right now to $1:21 to go here in the first quarter as the Indians lead 14-0 and looking to add more here in this period. As McCleary operates again out of the gun, and he'll step up, throw on the quick fire up. This time he's got Brady Storbo for the touchdown. Or they're going to say he's down at the 1.
So, a touchdown.
There he's in for the score. I'm looking at the one official here. He stands on the 2.
He's not giving you anything.
Yeah, but we got the touchdown. That's what I thought. So for Cheyenne Central, they now lead 20-0. As Brady Storbo will catch the 15-yard aerial, and Tippett will be on for the PAT out of the hold of Johnson. Snap is back, placement is down. This one is a line shot, and it is no good as it goes off to the left. So with 1:14 left to go here in period number 1, Central 20 and Laramie nothing. We're back after this 60-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. Get the full timeout in before they kicked it off. But Kilpack again, who's been basically the best offense for the Laramie Plainsmen, he will shoot it up to, it looks like, the 25-yard line. So it'll be first down and 10 for the Plainsmen across the way with about 67 ticks to go here in the period.
Yeah, so for Central, other than the interception thrown by Dawson McCleary, it's been a first quarter that has gone fully in their favor.
Well, they're going to swing it out real quick and drop by Kilpack. They're going to call it a lateral as he'll pick it up. He thought it was an incomplete pass. The official right there had not blown his whistle. The ref was standing right there, so Kilpack presence of mind to pick it up and get back to maybe the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's a good job there by Kilpack, realizing that there was no whistle there and getting it back to the line of scrimmage for Central. You know, if you're Coach Apodaca, you're going to tell them you guys got to play to the whistle because they had an opportunity to get another turnover in plus territory.
Absolutely. So it will be second down and 10, ball on the 25-yard line. The Plainsmen have had a hard time getting the offense even started against Cheyenne Central. As Dodd will operate again out of the gun. He's back to pass. He steps, he throws, and it'll be incomplete. It might have been partially blocked. I think somebody got a paw on that one.
Yeah, again, for Central, they're just getting a lot of pressure in the face of Dodd, not giving them a clear window to throw through. And it's really the defensive ends that are just constantly winning the battle for Central.
Yeah, and coming through on that one and causing the harassment was Tanner Bullock again. Bullock is having a great defensive effort for Cheyenne Central. Third down right now and 10 for the Plainsmen with the ball on their 25-yard line as Dodd will operate again out of the gun. Back to pass. He steps up, he throws. He's got a man wide open. That's Adair. He makes the grab and then loses the football out of bounds. And they're going to say that he caught it and lost it at the 43 of Cheyenne Central. Boy, there's a fumble that went the wrong way there.
Well, and, if this is the NFL, you're going to be asking to take a look at this.
Challenged if
you're
he,
right,
if he had it long enough.
Made the catch, yeah. So, but Adair had about 5 yards where there was nobody around him. Again, another good pass by Dodd there. If it wasn't a duck in the air and was able to throw that spiral, Adair's off to the races.
So for the Plainsmen, they're in Central Territory for the first time. It'll be first down and 10. They'll hand it off to Sell. Sell goes nowhere. Matter of fact, he will lose a yard or two back to the 45-yard line, and that's going to wrap up quarter number one. It's been all Cheyenne Central, 20-0 after the first period of play. We're back after the 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. To Risky Field, Cheyenne Central leading 20-0 as we get ready for quarter number two. You got a couple of scores you wanted to lay on us?
Natrona, number 4, is hosting Cheyenne East at 7-0. That's early in the first quarter. Kelly Walsh and Sheridan tied up at 7 in the first quarter, and the number 1 team in Class 4A up 7-0 over Campbell County.
So for the Laramie Plainsmen right now, they're faced with a second down at 13 as we open up quarter number 2. Dodd is back to pass, steps up in the pocket, and he'll be sacked. Actually, and this one will be about a yard sack as he's dropped the 47-yard line. So another loss on the play, and for the Plainsmen, they're faced with third down and long.
Another set's the third sack we've seen here tonight for this front 4 of Central, getting plenty of pressure on the quarterback, Garrett Dodd.
Plainsmen need to get to the 33-yard line. Back to pass goes Dodd. He steps up. He's throwing long for Adair. Adair pushes off, and it'll be incomplete. So nice job by Adair. He got away with that one as the umpire in the back didn't see it.
Yeah, it was clear, too. You can see the extended on the arms, but unfortunately for him, couldn't get both hands on it. Was trying to do the OBJ one-handed catch.
But what's happening to the side judge there? Isn't he supposed to be kind
looking
of tracking that play?
You would think. You would think.
Anyway, nice strong throw by Dodd, but incomplete. So it'll be fourth down, and Central will hopefully get the football back as Johnson and Talich will expect a punt from Tangeman as he will now drop back in deep punt formation. He'll stand around his 40-yard line. Kicking now the flag is basically limp, so we'll just say it's kind of neutralized. It is a little bit of a rain, a little shower that is coming down here at Risky Field as Tangeman will boot it away. Central comes in with a big, heavy rush, and it'll take a Laramie bounce, and Johnson will let it roll, and it'll get into the end zone. So what a gamble there by Johnson, and it paid off for Cheyenne Central as the ball just got into the end zone, and Central will have the football on their own 20-yard line, first down and 10.
Johnson blocking the one Plainsman that was coming to try to knock it down probably was the one guy that had the best chance. So at least for Johnson, even though he let it go by, did a good job getting in the way so that way it wouldn't be pinned inside the 5-yard line.
So this time it'll be Brady Storbo along with Johnson. To the near side on top is Talich. And in the backfield now will be Brock Storbo. This time they'll hand it off to Labatos. Labatos goes off tackle on the left side as he will take it down to the 24-yard line and pick up a 4. Going over the left side there of Miller and looks like T.J. Wilson.
Lobatos just looks like a much more confident runner than we saw in week 1 against Sheridan, because every time Lobatos has the ball, it's taking 2 to 3 defenders to bring him down at this point.
Give him 5 to the 25, so it's second down and 25 in motion this time, and hold everything. We are going to have a timeout call by Central. 10:44 left to go in quarter number 2. Indians 20, Plainsmen nothing back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. If anything can slow down the Central offense, I would say just this little bit of shower. But when I was down there earlier from the little earlier rain we had, field absorbs really good. I love these all-weather fields, how they can just take as, I don't want to say a lot of rain, but even just in this case here of a little shower, it absorbs it, and you're not seeing a lot of guys slipping thus far.
No, not to this point.
Second down and 5 after the timeout. In motion this time will be Talich as he will come from the far side of the near side. Hand off to Lobatos. Lobatos, big hole. 30-yard line, still on his feet, driving to the 35, and another first down for Cheyenne Central. This time they're going over the right side. Good job there by Martinez along with Joey Kostelecki.
That's 6 carries for 67 yards now for Carter Lobatos.
And the ball is resting on the Central 35-yard line. First down and 10. As McCleary steps, throws, he's got Brady Storbo. Storbo just shy of the 40-yard line. If they give him the 40 on forward progress, we'll see. Again, just a little quick little shot down the seam.
Well, one thing we saw a little bit against Sheridan, but we're seeing a lot today is Dawson McCleary. The reason why his percentage is so high is it's at the 58% completion is those short hitters he's able to complete.
This time to Lobatos. Lobatos with a quick shot in the hole, and he'll have the first down. He stretches forward to the 45-yard line, and that'll be another first down for Cheyenne Central. So Central Indians now starting to wear down that. And again, think about it. Even though the drives have been rather quick by Central, that defense has been out there a long time.
It has, because the offense hasn't had any type of time of possession to thus far.
As McCleary will operate again out of the gun, and then we got a flag coming in, and I do believe this is going to be against the Plainsmen. Well, the Plainsmen right now starting to fall apart.
That's now their third penalty for 15 yards
on the encroachment, so it will move it right to the midfield stripe.
Another score for the Mustangs, or for Natrona, as they are now up 14-0 over Cheyenne East. That, of course, is out in Casper.
At Cheney Alumni Field.
Another big rivalry game as far as Class 4A is concerned.
So for the Indians, they got a first down and 5. You don't really need to help this offensive attack with the penalty. Back to pass goes McCleary. He has time, fires, and goes through the hands. Might have thrown behind Johnson, but it'll be incomplete. Johnson tried his best to haul it in. So they'll stop the clock with 9:27 left here in quarter number 2.
Out of the 15 attempts, that's the first receiver dropped tonight for Cheyenne Central.
I actually thought he led him on that one too, so Johnson just had that one go through the wickets. So it'll be a second down call for the Indians and 5. They'll pitch it over to Lobatos. Lobatos looking for a block. He gets the block, and he'll have close to a first down to the 45 or 46 of the Plainsmen. Depends on the spot. They'll see the knees probably touched at the 46-yard line. So, again, nice sweep that time by the Indians.
And the first time for Lobatos where they have him go outside. They've been having him go between the tackles where they've seen a lot of success. They try to stretch out this Laramie defense, able to get a positive gain, and now a third and very short.
On the hash mark to the far side, third down and 1, trips here to the near side, as it will be Lobatos straight ahead, first down, and falls as I think he stepped on the shoe of Jimmy Koenig and tripped up at the 41-yard line. So it will be Cheyenne Central football. They're actually going to say the 42, so it'll be first down and 10, and Lobatos could have been off to the races.
That could have been a lot more than just a 4-yard gain.
So first down and 10 as McCleary will step back to pass. Under a heavy rush, steps away from the pocket, now on the run, and he'll slide and pick up some yardage for Cheyenne Central down to the 37-yard line to pick up a 5.
You can tell he plays baseball. It was a perfect slide, and you don't see too many quarterbacks at the high school level slide as well. So good job by McCleary being smart with the running the football there.
And credit to the Plainsmen defensively on the rush there. They put some pressure on them quickly, so the Central offensive line needs to shore it up a little bit. So it'll be second down. We'll call it 5 for the Indians. And Labatos on a quick hitter straight ahead, first down and more. And there's a flag, and he will be brought down at the 25 and probably tack on an additional 5 with the incidental face mask.
A great point of attack block by Storbo. It was, I believe, Brock Storbo with the great block that's really gave Labanos the lane to get through.
Yeah, and again, when you're going behind 6'4" and 230+ pounds, that's going to open up a lot of territory for you. So again, it will be to the 20-yard line, inside the 20 to the 19. So it'll be first down and 10 on the incidental face mask.
Now 10 carries, 98 yards as Labanos is creeping in on his first time this season at the century mark.
And Caleb Eaton, all he could do was just ride on the back of Labatos. That's how fast he hit that hole and grab the face mask. First down at the 19-yard line inside the red zone. And McCleary steps up, throws. He's got Talich. Talich is going to get in. Touchdown for the Central Indians. And I'll tell you what, Talich was wide open. Nice job by McCleary. He looked to his right, came back to the left side. Talich wide open, and the rest was on his own from the 10-yard line in.
Well, and I'm not sure who was over there, but they must have slipped, fell, or something, because when Talich caught that, there was nobody around him.
He was wide open, so it's a 26-0 score with 7:34 to go here in the first half. Central has basically owned this contest. So for the Cheyenne Central Indians, as McCleary hits the sophomore, they're going to go for 2, as it will be Labatos behind McCleary. As the ball is on the 2.5-yard line, as they'll go for 2, and they'll hand it off to Labatos. Labatos, that'll be the first time that he will fake it. They'll give it off to Johnson. Johnson throws one up, incomplete. Kind of threw up a jump ball on the reverse as they try to get it to Brock Storbo, and it will be no good on the 2-point conversion. 26-0, 7:34 to go here first half. We're back after this 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Adair will bring it up to the 30-yard line. Again, we apologize that we got back late on the kickoff, so we're going to have to probably go to 30 seconds here for some crazy reason. They're trying to get that thing.
It's too cold. They're trying to get
this game moving quick, huh? 7:22 left on the Pepsi scoreboard. You had an update out of Cheney and Alumni Field. What do we got going on?
East finally able to get on the scoreboard. A similar connection that we've seen all season thus far. Graydon Buell to Chance Allmiller from 16 yards out. Cuts the score in half, 14-7.
So Garrett Dodd, again, operating out of the gun, and he'll have none in the backfield with him. Ball resting on the 30-yard line for the Plainsmen. Back to pass goes Dodd. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. So he will be sacked again. Let's see who got on that sack there for Cheyenne Central.
Looks like Aiden Miller was the one that had the initial contact with Bull coming in late.
Looked like Kostelecki got the sack. 58.
Oh, 50.
It was 58. Kostelecki got him down. So for Cheyenne Central, big sack, and it'll put the Plainsmen back deep again. This time Dodd, and that was another busted play. So, again, on the Bullock, along with Kostelecki again, they drop him for yet another loss, and he's going to go back to the 20-yard line. So, instead of going west, they're going east, and that's not the way the Plainsmen want to do this.
No, and right now they need to find a way to block Kostelecki and Tanner Bullock right now because they're in the backfield every single play at this point.
3rd and 20 for the Plainsmen. Back to pass goes Dodd. He'll step up, he'll throw. He's got a man. That's Sell at the 25-yard line, then driven out of bounds at the 27. It'll be 4th down and long. So the Central Indians right now have got this Plainsman team so frustrated and bottled up.
Well, right now, just team speed on defense. They're not allowing them to get outside. They're not allowing the outside receivers to really get too much space other than the 2 plays to a dare. Just great job by Central in their discipline.
Johnson, along with Talich, will drop back deep for Cheyenne Central. Talich catching the last touchdown aerial from Dawson McCleary, making our score 26-0 against Central, missing on the 2-point PAT. That's been, again, Tippett's missed on 1 PAT. Tangeman end over end, and this one will take a Plainsman bounce and will bounce out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So for Cheyenne Central, again, good field position as they will have the football with plenty of time left here in the quarter.
Well, and really, it doesn't matter where they get the ball at the start. They've had 2 80-yard touchdown drives. Any field right now, when their offense takes it, is good field position for them thus far.
Well, again, for Cheyenne Central, Dawson McCleary, the veteran quarterback. And the nice thing about Dawson this year, and we talked with Coach Apodaca, the second year under this system. You know, last year, Coach Apodaca came in a little late as they were getting the system all put together. Well, Dawson, found some good out of it towards the end of the season. But this year comes in and feels real comfortable with this system that has been in place by Mike Apodaca. And I'll tell you right now, this whole offense really looks good. It is 1st down, ball on the 36-yard line, and they'll fake the handoff to Lobatos, rolling to his left side as McCleary steps up, throws, and it's knocked away by Adair. Nice job as he stepped in front of Brady Storbo to knock it away.
Yeah, Adair, just a great break, reading the eyes of McCleary, came in and dang near picked that one off as well, almost the second interception thrown by Dawson McCleary there.
That's what you do when you play center field.
Right.
You read the quarterback's eyes, and he did exactly that as he saw McCleary focusing in on Brady Storbo. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10. So for the for the Indians, they will send Talich along with Brady Storbo on top. And in motion will be Lobatos. He'll set up for the tight end screen, and this one will be Brock Storbo. He'll have the 1st down and more. As he and hold everything, do we have a flag?
Well, I think it's going to be a block in the back, right in the middle where Storbo initially had caught it. It looked like one of the linemen had blocked in the back, so we'll see if that's the call. If it is, it would be the first penalty on Laramie.
It'll be an eligible receiver downfield for Cheyenne Central. So they're going to back that up to the 31-yard line, and that will knock out that 1st down.
The first penalty on Central, and in one where, it's one of those tricky type of screens because it's in that middle of the screen.
Because you got to hold for that quick second, and then you're going. And I think once they saw Storbo break the plane of the LOS, that's when they came out right away and said, hey, we're going to go behind you, and the ball hadn't reached him yet. So it'll be 2nd down and 15 for the Ward Tribe as McCleary looks over to the side. He's got an empty backfield as he operates out of the gun. He'll send Lobatos to the wing on the far side as, again, and I think we got the Plainsmen to jump, so they'll get the 5 back.
I think Caleb Eaton was the one that got caught jumping. He looks like he was coming in on a blitz and tried to time the snap.
As Central backed off to get another play in. So for Cheyenne Central, they'll have it 2nd down and 10. We'll do the play all over again.
Like it never happened. It was just going to say it'll be the first time Central's really been behind the chains, or it would be the first time they were behind the chains and see how they would react to it. But there it is. They just go right back to it.
The only action we've had on the last 2 plays is the clock's been moving. That's
right.
About it. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 again. Another empty backfield as he'll send Lobatos to the wing on the far side. He'll flank him to the far side. And Lobatos steps up, throws. He's got a man. That is Talich. Talich still will be on his feet, and he'll be close to the 1st down to the 46-yard line. Nice job by the sophomore.
Another great
That was
block.
a low pass, too.
It was. He did a good job gathering it, but also trusting Borak Storbo to get the block initially, because Talich was left alone in bending down, and that's always a defenseless position for the receiver.
And they'll call it a first down for Cheyenne Central. The ball on their own 46-yard line. Hash mark to the far side. Hand off to Lobato straight ahead. Breaks a tackle, 50-yard line. Spins the tackler around with him and will drive down to the, it looks like the 43 of the Plainsmen. That'll be 11 yards on the run and another first down.
Yeah, good job there by Lobato. See, it doesn't matter who's getting in his way right now, whether it's his players or the Plainsmen. He's just running people over right now.
Yeah, and basically he just tucked in the head and he's off to the races. So a timeout call by the Plainsmen with 4:45 to go here in the first half. Central 26, Laramie nothing. Back after this 32nd timeout on 1480 KRAE. Jimmy Koenig, along with T.J. Wilson and Joey Kostelecki, Aiden Miller, along with Mark Martinez. I'll tell you what, they are doing a great job for Carter Lobatos. Also, you add the Storbo twins in there, adding additional muscle. And Lobatos just having a big field night, too, in addition to McCleary having a great passing night.
Right. You got Lobatos, 11 carries, 109. You got Dawson McCleary, 14 of 18 for 134. Also 3 touchdown passes as well. As far as offensive goes, other than the interception that they had,
it's almost a near-perfect
clean.
game. Yeah. So for Cheyenne Central, they'll look at a first down at 10. Ball spotted right now on the Plainsman 43-yard line. Hash mark to the far side, and back to pass goes McCleary. Plenty of time. Steps up, throws, and he throws behind. Looks like Brady Storbo as he threw behind him, incomplete. Storbo was coming across the field, and the pass went to the flag.
Probably the first time tonight we saw McCleary be the one that missed the receiver by not hitting him in stride. With Storbo, as Storbo had space, but again, like you said, McCleary threw it behind him. He couldn't adjust to it.
And it wasn't so much, a pass down the seam. It was Storbo had broke off the pattern to the middle of the field, and again, just threw behind him. So a second down at 10 for Cheyenne Central. Talich along with Brady Storbo, they will come to the near side. Again, Lobatos behind McCleary in motion this time is Johnson, and they will give it off to Johnson on the fly sweep, and he will be inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line, so about 5-6 yards on that run.
Yeah, nice. It's
38-yard line.
So quick there by McCleary is when he tosses it in front of him, where he's able to still come back and almost freeze the front four to give Johnson an extra second to clear that front line.
3rd down and 5 with an empty backfield for McCleary again operating out of the gun. Now they'll step over to the side and take a look at what Coach Apodaca has in store. So the play has been relayed, and Central on a 3rd down and 5 will have McCleary back to pass. Quick throw. He's got Johnson. Johnson will be close to the first down. If not, he has it. Then a little 5-yard turnaround and look in.
And that's, if I have my calculations right, they're now 2 for 2 on 3rd down. So they've only had 2 third downs. That's how well they've been moving the ball. Only 2 third downs this far.
And again, Cheyenne Central now milking the clock a little bit on this drive as well. Under 4 minutes to go. First down at 10. Spot the ball on the 33-yard line of the Plainsmen. So Talich along with Johnson to the near side, as you'll have Storbo, Brock Storbo flanked to the left, and right behind him is Brady in motion. This time will come Johnson from the near side of the far side. Back to pass goes McCleary. He wants it all. Looking long. He wants to go for Talich, and he'll overshoot everybody. It'll be incomplete. Kilpack on the coverage.
Kilpack had great coverage there, too, because the way McCleary threw that ball, he threw it trying to lead Talich towards the end zone, and Kilpack had probably a better chance to catch that ball than Talich did.
Well, and he put a lot of loft under it, too. You really rocked back. It kind of reminded me a lot of a Terry Bradshaw type of pass back in the day. 2nd down and 10 with the ball on the 33-yard line. As McCleary now will check off the play as he looks over to Coach Apodaca and will relay it to his troops. Lobatos behind him, and they'll throw it right into the seam, and it is caught by Brady Storbo, and he will Brock Storbo, that is, as Brock Storbo makes the grab, and it'll be inside the 20. So it'll be a first down for Cheyenne Central. They are down to the Plainsmen 15-yard line, first down and 10. Holy moly.
That was Storbo just ran over Adair too after he made the catch.
So between Brock and Brady, I'm telling you, they are just tearing them up on the receiving side tonight for Cheyenne Central. As it's first down and 10, they'll pitch it back to Lobatos, hold everything, a whistle prior to the snap.
Timeout called
by the Plainsmen with 3:03 to go here in the quarter. 26-0 Central. We're back after this 30-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. Along with Chris Polton, Nick Proietti, who is handling the live stream tonight, as you are getting a pretty good view of the Cheyenne Central Polton offense right now, as the Indians 26-0 looking to add another score here before the intermission.
Speaking of adding another score, Wilkes Jackson for Natrona County scores from 51 yards out. Natrona now up 21-7 in that number 4 against number 2 matchup.
For Cheyenne Central, it is first down and 10 with the ball on the 15-yard line of the Plainsmen. In motion this time will be Brady Storbo, and back to pass goes McCleary. He wants it all in the end zone, throws a jump ball. Kaba Johnson, touchdown. Oh, what a nice job by Andrew Johnson in the corner of the end zone, and Central will get another score.
Yeah, that's just McCleary saying, my guy's better than you, and I'm going to put up the ball, and I'm going to believe that my guy's going to win the battle, and that's what Johnson did right there. Is Johnson now, not a lot of people knew about him at the beginning of the year, but he's starting to become that key, that a guy that you put in the same breath of a Blaine Allen.
Well, they had the mismatch on Connor Kilpack, too, by about 6-7 inches, and threw it up for that jump ball. Low snap, the kick is up by Tippett, and it is good. Central 33, Laramie nothing. 2:58 to go here in the first half. We're back after this 30-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. Johnson has 6 foot. He's about 6'2", and you got Kilpack in at 5'8". So again, the height advantage, and McCleary threw it just perfect.
It was a great
in the corner
ball.
of the end zone.
Yeah, and again, when you're Dawson McCleary and you have athletes like the Storbo twins and Johnson, you're going to give your guys a chance, and you're going to believe in them and give them a good 50-50 ball.
So Adair back along with, I think it's Sell, and it will come down to the hands of Sell, and he'll pick it up at the 10 to the 15. 20-yard line, and still puts his head down, drives past the 25. Now the pile in a scrum, and finally he will be whistled down, even though he's still standing up. But let's see where they officially spot. It looks like the 28-yard line, maybe the 27, as they'll toss the football around. So we'll wait till they officially put it down, as it is 27-yard line for the Plainsmen. Still, Central has, a couple timeouts left, too. Just throwing that out there, Chris.
Yeah, well, Central, as you said, they have a couple of timeouts. And for Laramie, they only have 1 first down to this point, too. So Central's defense has done a great job going 3 and out.
Pitch it back this time to Sell. Sell breaks 1 tackle, drives over the 30-yard line to the 31, and he'll be out of bounds. They'll keep the clock going. Let's see if it's the 31 or 32 that they give him. That would be one of the better runs that they've had tonight.
Yeah, not so much room thus far for Laramie, when it comes to the run game, of course, on the season, they don't run for a lot of yards on the season anyway. Most of their damage comes through the air.
So coming back into the lineup will be Nunn, as he will join Dodd in the backfield. Dodd back to pass under heavy rush, gets away from the first wave, steps up, throws long, and it's going to be incomplete. As a nice job and a battle there between the Cheyenne Central Indian Johnson along with looked like Travis Judd. And Judd looked like he came down with it in the ground, basically coughed it up.
Yeah, he did a great job at least getting his hands on it, just couldn't keep it through the contact as Johnson really did a great job. Didn't have a lot of space at all. It was a good ball thrown by Garrett Dodd.
Now, the thing that's important about that stopped the clock with 2:03 to go. So it's 3rd down and 6 for the Plainsmen. Ball on the 31-yard line as Dodd is back to pass. He's got plenty of time, steps up, throws, got a man wide open. That's Kilpack. Kilpack into Indian territory, down to the 45-yard line, and a 1st down. So that will keep the possession in favor of the Plainsmen. That's what they needed, that little shot in the arm there with $1:54 left to go here in the first half on a little crossing pattern as Dodd spots Kilpack and hits him.
And good job there by Adair with the downfield blocking, giving Kilpack a chance to get it into central territory.
So for the Plainsmen, they will use their last time out here in the first half with 1:47 to go. They'll talk about it, and we'll be back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Risky Field, as again tonight, Cheyenne Central celebrates the 30-year anniversary of the 1989 championship team. Hopefully a lot of that alum out here tonight to watch the Cheyenne Central Indians right now take it to one of their former nemesis back in the day, the Laramie Plainsmen. That was when John Deta was the head coach. Handoff this time. They'll give it to Sell. Sell. He is spun down, looks like at the 44-yard line, so maybe a gain of 1. If that, and that was a real hard yard.
Yeah, once again, the front 4, really the front 7, even the linebackers are getting there as well. There's just not a lot of white hats that are getting in the ways, even opening up any type of running lanes.
Dodd on a 2nd down and 9, back to pass, under heavy rush, and down he goes. Oh, he was hit hard. As he absorbed that shock, looks like at the 50, maybe to the 49, and Central wants a timeout. So with 1:13 to go, Central leading 33-0. It'll be 3rd down and long for the Plainsmen when we come back. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Sack on Garrett Dodd, and that one was probably the most painful of the 5. I mean, he got slammed
and
hard.
There was a couple of guys that came on top of him on that one, and if it's again Tanner Bullock, 205 falling on top of you, that's not a good feeling to have, especially when it's cold on this hard turf.
Well, and again too, with the Central defense right now, I mean, both LOSs, they are in full control right now. 3rd down 15 with the ball at the midfield stripe as Dodd will be, again, back in the backfield. He'll have Sell with him off to his left. He'll roll to his left, step and throw. He's got Adair. Adair will try to spin away, and he can't do so, and he's dropped at the 43. It'll be 4th down and 8 for the Plainsmen with 63 ticks to go, and the clock is stopped. So for Cheyenne Central, they will use that last timeout. We'll keep it here. As we want to remind you, come up halftime, we'll get you caught up on scores. Chris has a bunch of stats, and right now a lot of good stats for the good guys, Cheyenne Central.
Yeah, Central, especially on defense, they've just been all over the place. We thought we'd say a lot of Carlo Lobatos today, but he hasn't had to make the plays because the front four is doing everything else right now.
And again, too, you speaking of Carlo Lobatos, though, what he's not doing defensively, offensively, he's making up for it.
Yeah, over the century mark already. I believe that's the first time this season he's rushed for over 100 yards. McCleary with 4 first-half touchdowns. Johnson with 2 of those. And, yeah, there are a lot of
you have the
good
Storbo
stats.
with the touchdown, and also you have Talich with another receiving touchdown, too. So, again, for Cheyenne Central, they're going to go in the locker room. They're going to feel pretty good about themselves. They may even go in with more points. We don't know. This is such a quick strike offense, and they have no timeouts left.
Well, and you notice, too, with 4th down and 4th down and about 7, they're coming out with their base defense. They don't have their punt return team in just yet.
Well,
now Johnson goes back.
And Tangeman will drop back deep for the Plainsmen as he will stand around their 43-yard line. So hopefully for Central that they went after the punt, but Tangeman gets it away and it'll go out of bounds. And that's a nice punt, as it did not it hit right at the 12-yard line and went out. So that was a good punt. Central backed up deep. They got 88 yards to go and 58 seconds, which is probably plenty of time with this offense.
Well, right now, and we haven't seen Dawson McCleary throw the ball too far down the field. I think the largest pass we've seen him throw down the field was one that he overthrew to Johnson. But we're here with 58 seconds, no timeouts too, Larry. You're going to have to work the sidelines as much as you can.
And again, Laramie deferred, so they will get the ball to open the second half. So Central right now looking to put the proverbial nail in the coffin right now before halftime. McCleary back to pass, steps, throws. He's got Johnson. Johnson near the sideline, and he's still on his feet as he will step out of bounds and stops the clock at the 33. Nice job by the junior.
Yeah, Johnson tiptoeing down the sideline, made one cut inside, and then got himself out after getting an extra, 5-6 yards right there.
And that only burns 7 seconds of the clock, 51 seconds to go. McCleary now with plenty of breathing room at the 33-yard line, rolling to his left side. Steps up. There's a flag down. He gets away from one would-be tackler, gets away from another tackler. 40-yard line, steps out at the 45, but it's going to come back. I think it's going to be a holding call on Cheyenne Central. And that is the preliminary indication from the referee. So for Cheyenne Central, and that, again, that's a spot foul for the Indians. And actually, in this case, again, I'm not sure if is it.
I don't think if it's behind the line of scrimmage, I believe they go from the original line.
Right.
And that's where I think it is at the original line.
So they're going to mark it back to the 23-yard line. So as they marked it back to the 18-yard line.
They did. They marked it from 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
It's a spot foul. So for the Cheyenne Central Indians, now they'll have a first down, and we'll call it about 22.
Well, if they're trying to add some points here, they're going to need a big play with 42 seconds now well behind the chains.
Both Storbos out on top, along with Talich. To the near side is Johnson. Lobatos alone back in the backfield. Back to pass goes McCleary. He pump fakes. He's under a heavy wrench, and he will be sacked. So McCleary will go down, and Central probably will just, get one more play off and then call it good and go into the locker room and feel pretty good with a 33-0 lead over the Plainsmen, as the Plainsmen can't stop the clock. Again, both teams have run their complement of timeouts. Ball right now at the 10-yard line for the War Tribe on a second down and long. And this time they'll hand it off to Lobatos. He breaks one tackle, 15-yard line, still on his feet, gets away from another tackle, 20-yard line, gets a block from Storbo, still on his feet, and then a late flag comes down as it will be Lobatos driven out near the 40 and hold everything. We might have an injured Plainsman. Let's see who he is down there.
I think that is.
So that could be a good, that could be a clip there on Jacks, Graham Jacks. He'll get up, good for him. And let's see what the call is as they'll bring it back. So
One
with
second,
1
too.
second left to go.
Lobatos with some strong running. It looked like he was going to be caught in the backfield.
And he
but
got,
was able
and he
to
got a
break
great
away.
block from Brady Storbo, too. So they're going to mark that back to the 20-yard line for Cheyenne Central. 1 tick left on the scoreboard. And now no time left as Central will not even come up to the line of scrimmage at halftime. Indians 33, Plainsmen nothing. We will be back after a 2-minute timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. Go above the Mendoza line to be 3-2 this season. Again, that'd be their 3rd consecutive win. Well on their way right now after a very stellar first half, 33-0. A missed PAT and a missed 2-point conversion, and a couple of penalties there on that last drive. Kind of the only downside to the Cheyenne Central first half under second-year head coach Mike Apodaca. But again, this passing offense that the Indians are showing the rest of the 4A conference. And again, week 1, you kind of throw away at Thunder Basin. It just wasn't there. I mean, and again, the Bolts are the real deal. We're not going to take anything away from them. But this, I mean, how do you shut this thing down?
Well, especially when Lobatos is able to get going in the middle, because right now you're trying to spread everybody out to cover, all the receivers on the outside. And right now for Central, the front 5 is doing the job. They're not only are they getting that first level open, they're getting to the second level where Lobatos is, untouched 5-6 yards at a time, gets a whole head of steam. And when he does that, he's tough to bring down, especially when you only have one guy trying to bring him down.
And then you look at the Plainsmen. They have that season-opening win against Casper, Kelly Walsh. And, of course, Kelly had some problems their first couple of weeks, and then they got healthy against Cheyenne South. But you sit here and you look at, wow, things have just gone south, so to speak, for the Laramie Plainsmen.
And for Central, again, they not only on offense were they doing big things, but on defense, 5 sacks, of course, a strip sack and a fumble return for a touchdown for Central as well. So they're not just scoring on offense, but they're getting some defensive scores as well.
Yeah, the Lundberg touchdown forced by Tanner Bullock as he blew through, and I mean literally blew up the play, and then Lundberg picks it up and takes it the 20-yard gallop for the touchdown. So right now, and I say this in all honesty, and again, I might be a homer announcer. You have your Fab Four. You have Thunder Basin, you have Sheridan, you have East, you have Casper Trona. They reload every year. Bottom line, even Thunder Bay's in its infancy right now, but getting most of those Campbell County kids to head over there and play football. Right now, you're starting to see a Cheyenne Central team. Last year, first-year head coach Mike Apodaca, he knows what the tradition is like. Former player here, he's been part of championships. He wants to bring that winning culture here to Cheyenne Central. Probably might be ahead of schedule in that plan right now. This is a team. Maybe they're not ready to crack the top 4. We'll know here in a couple of weeks when they play Cheyenne East. But you know what? If they wrap up at number 5 heading into the playoffs, I don't want to play this team. I do not want to play this team because they pose too many problems.
Well, especially, too, with how it's looking right now at Natrona, East could be that team that drops to number 4. And the last thing you want to do if you're East is play a team that gets to sleep in their own bed and playing in your field.
Yeah.
And so if Central's starting to see, as a coach, you just want to see improvement every week. That's your goal. And then by the time you get to playoffs, you're playing your best football. And I think for Coach Apodaca, you can really hang your hat on the fact that at least every week we've seen them, they continually get better.
Yeah, and go back to week 3 where I wouldn't have gave them a puncher's chance at Rock Springs, thinking that Rock Springs is a little better than they were last year, a team that gave East fits and also put Great Buell out before the playoffs. But they go up there, they go to the Tigers Den, and that is a tough place to win on the road. They beat Rock Springs, and then last week they beat the snot out of Campbell County. The only bad thing for Cheyenne Central, the momentum was kind of taken away because of the weather.
Right.
Tonight, it's been cold. We've had a shower or two, but really hasn't affected play. And right now, with the Laramie Plainsmen, they're in that locker room, and Coach Clint Reed's going, my gosh, how do we stop these guys?
Well, and when you're looking at your offense and you get 2 first downs in the first half, the best way to stop an offense is keep your offense out on the field, keep your defense on the bench, and right now Laramie can't do that.
And again, too, you're in a situation in high school football, especially in this part of the world in Class 4A, where you have a half dozen, 7, 8, maybe 9 guys going both ways, and we'll probably leave it right around 6 or 7. And, again, these guys are going both ways, but they've been on the defensive end. I mean, the Plainsmen defense spent a lot of time on the field, even during the short drives by Cheyenne Central, but they have not had a chance to lock and load that offense yet.
Well, speaking of guys playing both ways, I think we're starting to see the effects of Aiden Miller being back, because that leaves Tanner Bullock to where he can just play defense. And that guy's got an endless motor right now because he's not having to play both ways. And between him and Kostelecki, they're just causing havoc right now.
And then also, too, you can bring in a Miller to come in and take, give Bullock a break, or Kostelecki, or you can add another defensive lineman to the alignment. So right now, you go into the locker room, Cheyenne Central, first off, you can't get complacent.
Right.
The good news for Cheyenne Central, there's no lightning delay today.
Right, yeah.
There won't be any lightning delay, so we're going to knock on wood on that. And then as you get ready for the second half, they got to start off with the defense. So if they can set the tone right away, we are only 12 points away from a running clock too, as well.
Yeah, and if you're Central, that first possession is big. You don't want Laramie to pull get any kind of steam whatsoever. You've seen a couple of guys get loose. Adair a couple of times had a lot of space between him and the corner, and a good pass by Garrett Dodd would have probably made this game, 33-7, 33-14 with how loose Adair has gotten. But luckily for Central, Dodd hasn't been able to throw that nice tight spiral to give Adair a chance to catch and run.
And the Hosses up front have put tremendous pressure on Dodd. 5 sacks here in the first half. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. We're going to come back. Chris is going to update scores, and we'll be back after this 2-minute timeout on 1480 KRAE. Risky Field at the intermission as Cheyenne Central leading 33-0. Congratulations to the Swinging A's of Oakland as they have now punched their ticket to the wild card, yet they haven't determined if they're going to host. Right now they're in pretty good position to host. Hopefully they can beat Seattle again tonight at T-Mobile Park. Do want to mention, too, as Nick showed me earlier, that we had one of our live streamers from the left coast joining us on our broadcast tonight. So thank you so much for the comment. Appreciate that. Back with Chris Polton. Chris, what's our scoreboard look like here in Class 4A?
All Rock Springs over at down south. That's as the Fighting Bison has been held scoreless by the Tigers. That's in the fourth quarter. At halftime, number 4 Natrona up 21.
What's the score? You didn't give me the numbers.
Oh, 43-0.
43-0.
Yeah, a lot to a little.
Yeah,
yes.
Plenty to nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So number 4 Natrona. This is of course in Casper. They're up 21-14 over number 2 Cheyenne East. As East was able to score in the closing minutes. Another Graydon Buell Chance Allmiller connection. Sheridan, number 3 Sheridan, up 21-10 over Kelly Walsh. That's at halftime. Even though a 11-point deficit, I would say that's kind of shocking to see Kelly Walsh as close as they are, especially because I believe that game is out in Sheridan. And then number 1 Thunder Basin is a crosstown rival game going on. Thunder Basin up 21-7 over Campbell County. That's still in the second quarter.
All right, so we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back after a 60-second timeout. We'll check out the first half stats. Again, Central will be kicking off to get things underway in the third quarter. We're back after the 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Scores we want to pass along concerning the county teams. The Burns Broncs in action tonight. They right now are on top.
14-0 over number 3 Wheatland. That's in the first quarter. And then, of course, you have Pines Bluff against Tongue River. That's at half 13-6. Pines Bluff with the lead there. So
Pine Bluffs.
That's what I say.
There's no Pines.
Well, I mean, I thought maybe Pines owns the bluff, right? No, Pine Bluffs.
Pine Bluffs. Now you got me all confused. Hey, real quick here is we're going to look at some first half stats. The Central offense, as I'm looking here on my charts, we're talking about if the season ended today, Cheyenne Central is losing one person off that offense. That is your quarterback. That's obviously a main cog. That would be Dawson McClure. You got one sophomore out there, and the rest are juniors, including your offensive line. Isn't that a scary
thought?
When
we talked about it when we saw the freshman number 16, I think his name is Bradley Feeser, 6'4", quarterback freshman, and he looked like he was throwing a pretty nice ball in warm-ups.
And Talich also could
another
be a quarterback
right.
as well. All right, so anyway, let's go to the first half stats as we should have an extra couple minutes put on the scoreboard here, but go ahead.
We'll go with Laramie first. Their quarterback, Garrett Dodd, 5 of 10 for 70 yards. 2 catches for Adair, 38 yards. Kilpack has a catch for 24. Sell with a catch for 7. And the running back, when I'm drawing a blank, Nunn with a catch for 1 yard. Nunn also has 2 carries for 11 yards. 3 carries for the quarterback, Dodd, for negative 12 yards. Sell has 4 carries for 4 yards. Kilpack 2 carries for 0 yards. For 2 first downs for Laramie in that first half. For Central, way different story. 19 of 26 for Dawson McCleary for 200 yards, 4 touchdowns in that first half. Carter Labatos, 11 carries, 109 yards. Dawson McCleary, 2 carries for 9 yards. As far as receiving goes, Johnson with 8 catches for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. You have Brock Starbo with 6 catches and 57 yards. Brady Storbo, 3 catches, 35 yards. He also has a touchdown. Talich, 2 catches for 29 yards, and he has a touchdown as well.
And Nate Lundberg on the defensive side has the 20-yard run after the fumble recovery caused by Tanner Bullock.
6 possessions in that first half for Central. 4 touchdowns, 1 INT, and, of course, the other one end of the half. So, really, as we were talking about, other than the penalties, especially late in that second quarter, and then the 1 interception, the only type of black marks on this Central offense thus far. And as far as defense goes, well, unblemished to this point against Laramie.
Well, you sit here and you look at, do you go to the bullpen? Is it too early to go to the bullpen for the Plainsmen? Do you put in Jake Vegan, the sophomore, in place of Garrett Dodd? There's a lot of things that are going to happen for the Plainsmen. I think this initial drive for Laramie is going to be probably the tell-all of what's going to happen here for the remainder of this game. If they don't put a sustained drive together, get a touchdown on the board, this thing is going to be done, and I think we're going to have a running clock.
Yeah, and I think, too, for Central, you would say, well, they can't just rely on the run. They haven't been able to all season. Well, tonight they've been able to rely on the run as Lobatos is running the ball fiercely.
It's been a good complement to the passing game, so you're absolutely right on that. The second half kickoff headed your way after a 30-second timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. Here at Risky Field, and the good news, it's not blustery cold, because usually you get the winds that come off I-25. We had a little breeze earlier, but right now I look at the flags, everything is calm. It's just, it's into the lower 40s right now.
Well, and we thought, to start this game, we wondered how it would be with the passing game, really for Central, because they rely on it heavily with how well Dawson McCleary's thrown the ball this year, but it has had zero effect on Dawson McCleary and passing the ball. And as far as the moisture goes, other than 2 dropped passes, everybody else, when they should have caught it, they've come down with it.
Sill and Kilpack are back deep as Tippett will approach the football and kick it end over end. It's high, and it'll end up in the hands of Sell. Picks it up at the 15 to the 20, now to the 25, 30-yard line, and he's down. So again, for the Plainsmen, fairly decent position. It looks like they will go with the quarterback Garrett Dodd, the junior, as he will come on out, trailing 33-0, the Plainsmen, to Cheyenne Central. Like I said, I think this is going to be the key drive of this contest, or we will be, venturing into moving clock land like we did last week at Cheyenne South.
We'll see, too. With this front four, they've been blasting through that line. See if they try to get them over-aggressive with some screens or draws.
Nunn will pitch it back to Nunn. Nunn outside and to the 40-yard line. He's midfield down to the 40. 30-yard line, and he'll be wrapped up and dropped at the 21. Nice run by Nunn.
Well, that was kind of a delayed pitch there. They let the front four come up, and they pitched it out to Nunn, and Nunn had some space, and a good job there by, I believe,
Talich. It was Talich who saved the touchdown, yeah. So what a start for the Plainsmen as they come out on the ground and drive it all the way down to the 21-yard line on one run by Nunn. First down and 10. Ball on the 21-yard line of the war drive. Kilpack in motion. They'll go on the fly sweep this time. He'll try to get outside. He cuts it back up, and he will be down to the 16, maybe the 17-yard line. We'll give him 4 on the play. It'll be second down and 6.
So some fire early for Laramie after the big play. Then another good sizable gain on first down.
Well, and I also believe the Indians guessed wrong defensively. Right. I think they were going to think that the Plainsmen were going to come out throwing the football and hit them on the ground right away. And this time they'll hand off to Sell. Sell goes up the gut, and he will be dropped at the 14-yard line. So it'll be third down for the Plainsmen, needing to get to the 11. So they're knocking on the door here inside the red zone.
Well, and for Laramie, they're looking for their first third down conversion as well.
Third down and 3, and Dodd is back to pass. He's going to keep it and call his own number. He'll have the first down inside the 10, and he's down to the 6-yard line. First down and goal for the Plainsmen at the 6.
Yeah, good job there by Dodd. He saw the lane, and instead of trying to force a pass, he took what was given to him to get the first down.
And he took one look to the corner and just tucked it away. So trips to the far side right now for Dodd. Dodd again calls his own number, and he'll go nowhere. Oh, he went down in a hurry.
I believe that was, again, our guy,
Tanner Bullock.
Right there, just meeting him at the line of scrimmage.
So Bullock wraps him up and drops him possibly give him a yard loss back to the 7. So it'll be second down and goal. We'll say right there. It's in between the 6 and the 7 right now, as Dodd will again operate out of the gun. And high snap. He'll get away from the first initial charge and get inside the 5, down to 3. He avoided disaster. He would have been dropped around the 10-yard line as he got away from 2 would-be tacklers and takes it inside down to the 4, so it'll be third and goal.
Yeah, an outside blitz that brought 2 outside linebackers coming in, and good job there by Dodd to take that quick step up and churn something into nothing, or nothing into something.
Nunn is lined up to Dodd's right again out of the gun. He'll go on the belly this time to Nunn and held it too long. And let's see who made that tackle. Looks like Kostelecki made the tackle at the 5, so it'll be fourth down.
Kostelecki and Tanner Bullock all over the place right now for this Central defense.
Well, again, they went with that belly as long as they could. Finally gave it off to Nunn, and he could not get it in. Fourth down and goal for the Plainsmen. Dodd is back to pass. He throws one up, and it'll be pass interference on Cheyenne Central, running into Kilpack, and it will be an automatic first down. And that's too bad because the pass was way overthrown. I do believe that would be Ethan Wilkins.
Ethan Wilkins, yeah, he just shoved Kilpack down to the ground. I'm not sure if he thought he was kind of still in that range where you could make contact, but the ball was in the air when he made that contact and threw Kilpack down to the ground. So that's big because that would have been turnover on downs and Central would have had the ball back.
And the ball will be moved now to the 2. It's half the distance of the goal, and they'll stay. It's fourth down still. It's not an automatic first down like it is in the pros.
Well, there we go. Another fourth down opportunity.
No, it is. Yeah, it's still fourth down. So the ball right now at the 2-yard line on the penalty, as Dodd is in the gun. High snap, and he'll hit the ground, and they'll turn the ball over on downs to Cheyenne Central, as he will fall on it at the 9-yard line. And a blown opportunity by the Plainsmen, not once, but twice.
And Kostelecki right there waiting for Dodd to come back down with it, falls on top of him. Another sack, 7 sacks now, or 6 sacks for Central.
Central will have the football. It looks like they're going to line up around their 7-yard line. Again, Central will be going left to right across your radio dial, or again, if you're on YouTube or Periscope via Twitter, again, left to right via your visual side. As it will be McCleary out of the gun, and he'll go safely. He'll fire. Wide open is Storbo. That's Brock Storbo, midfield to the 45, 40, down to the 39-yard line of the Plainsmen. That's just what we call an old-fashioned fire-up. Again, you put the ball in the tummy of Lobatos, one step back, boom, you find Brock Storbo, and he'll take it inside Plainsman territory down to 39. What a big play.
Well, that right there, too, you saw Storbo, just nobody around him, and when you can run the ball,
seam, yeah.
When you can run the ball, the seams will be open when you do the play action.
And the Plainsmen, similar to what the Indians did on their first defensive side, guessed wrong. So for the Indians, they will have the football now. Plainsmen 39-yard line, hash mark to the far side. Oh my! As it gives McCleary time to head on over and talk to Coach Apodaca, since they're close to the Central bench. As the Indians now will have Lobatos right behind McCleary as he operates out of the gun again, and it'll be to Lobatos. Lobatos breaks a tackle. Jennings gets inside to the 21-yard line, and again, Adair making that stop. He's your center fielder, and I'm telling you, he's going to be bruised. He's going to be bruised and battered after this is all said and done.
Lobatos has been beating him up, not trying to go around him, trying to go through him.
So for Cheyenne Central, they will have first down just outside the red zone as Storbo checks in. Actually, it'll be Lundberg who checks in. Lundberg now will be the up back, and they'll hand it off to Lobatos. Lobatos is wrapped up, gets away from one tackle to the 15, the 10, down to the 5-yard line, inside the 5, maybe to the 4. What a great job. He was bottled up around the 20-yard line and then just broke free.
He just can't have just one person get on Lobatos. Lobatos is running like a man possessed right now, and one guy is not going to bring him down.
So for Cheyenne Central, it'll be first down and goal with the ball right now. Looks like it's going to be just inside the 5. So for the Indians, and both Storbos are back out there now as McCleary again operates out of the gun, as he will have they'll pitch it back to Lobatos. He's got big Brock Storbo, and nobody will touch him. Touchdown. So Corey Lobatos sweeps the left side for the score, and the Indians answer that quick, 39-0.
94 yards in a heartbeat. 1 minute and 30 seconds is how long it took them to go 94 yards.
And one big play was the Brock Storbo catch from Dawson,
which was 55 of the 94.
Johnson will hold, and again it will be Tippett's to attempt the PAT. Snap is back, placement is down, kicked through the uprights, and that's good. Central 40, Laramie nothing, 7:26 remains here in the third quarter. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. The game of football is a weird duck, just simply for the fact that, hey, you know, you're going to probably see the first teamers out there at least for 3 quarters.
Right.
And they have been just absolutely fabulous for Cheyenne Central tonight. You know, and again, it's not so much to try to run up the score, but, hey, one more score by Central on the touchdown side, and we're going to have a running clock.
Well, and it's this early, too, so it's not like you're not going to start, changing your play calling 2.5 quarters in. And what stinks for Laramie is they first play from the line of scrimmage to start the half, 50 yards, and you don't score a touchdown.
Yeah. Adair is back deep along with a Sell, and the kick from Tippett's end over end. This one will go right to the end zone and in. So for the Plainsmen, they will operate the offense at their 20-yard line for a first down and 10 situation.
For Central, their defense, probably the biggest punch they have taken, but able to get off the deck and make some really good plays. And again, Kostelecki, the guy there with Tanner Bullock in that front 4. They've been dominating the trenches, both on offense for Kostelecki and for Bullock on the defensive side.
So Sell will be to the left this time of Dodd. Dodd operates out of the gun. He'll pitch it out to Dodd, or to Sell, that is. Sell will put a stiff arm, and he will be driven out at the 25-yard line. Maybe the 26, we'll see. Again, hard to see when they get there in front of the Plainsman bench. So nice run, and again, could have been dropped right there at the 20.
Yeah, he will give him 6 on that.
Yeah, they're going to say right at the 26.
But yeah, good stiff arm on the defensive back by Sell to get himself loose for a few more.
Second down and 4, and movement on the interior line by the Plainsmen. So that's going to wipe out that 6-yard run and make it now second down and 9. Wow, the mistake that was not needed by the Plainsmen right now.
No, it seems like right now it's just a lot of self-inflicting wounds by Laramie. You saw the bad snap on 4th down, and here after a nice gain by Sell, you go back 5 yards after a pre-snap penalty.
Trips to the near side and nowhere to go this time, and down for a loss is a Sell. as he was wrapped up again. There's Bullock, there's Kostelecki, the same cast of characters also in on that stop there for Cheyenne Central. It looks like it was Joe Brubeck who's getting some playing time. Third down and long for the Plainsmen as they're back at their 20-yard line. Back to pass goes Dodd. Dodd under heavy rush, and down he goes.
Tanner Bullock again.
As Bullock drops him inside, they're going to say right at the 10, so it will be fourth down and 20 for the Plainsmen. So,
I mean, they're just getting after it right now
Wow.
on the defensive side.
And again, they know the Plainsmen are in desperation mode, so you just pin your ears back and you just come in with the big bull rush, and that's what the Indians are doing. So for the Indians, it will be, it looks like Talich, as Talich looks like he will retreat to his own 45. So Central should come away with great field position as Tangeman is back deep. High snap as he will pull it down, and like a knuckleball, and Central's going to get even better field position. So let's see where the official will flag it down. They're going to say the 35-yard line. So good field position for the Indians and a TD, and we will have a running clock.
Well, and for Central, it took them a minute and a half to go 94 yards. You got to think that 35 yards probably looked like a walk in the park with how their offense has been moving so far tonight.
So for the Ward Tribe, they'll come on out, as it will be McCleary, as he will trot them on out. He'll have Brock Storbo along with Johnson to the near side. Now they're going to switch it. No, Brock will come back to the near side as he'll join Johnson. Lobato's in the backfield as it's first down and 10. Ball on the Plainsman 35-yard line. In motion is Johnson, and they'll pitch it to Johnson on the fly sweep. He'll get a block from Lobatos, trying to cut it back against the grain. He does so, 30-yard line, 25, and just shy of the 20-yard line down to the 21. Nice run that time by Andrew Johnson. Wow.
And Andrew Johnson showing off some speed in that quick left to right jolt as he was started all the way towards the Central bench, and by the time he was tackled, was in the middle of the field.
First down, ball on the 21-yard line as the Indians right now, again, knocking on the door of the red zone. As Lobatos is the lone back in the backfield once again behind McCleary. McCleary back to pass, steps, throws, and it'll be incomplete. Try to hit Johnson on the quick slant, and that will be incomplete. Second down for the Indians.
Good job there by Kilpack, not allowing Johnson that free release inside and getting the hand in there.
So for the Indians, they'll face a second down and 10 call. Again, the McCleary will retreat to the gun as this time he'll hand it off to Lobatos. Lobatos breaks off tackle, still on his feet, and drives down to the 15-yard line to pick up a 6 on the play. And it'll be third down and 4 for the Indians. Looks like there might be, is that 8 air? I'll tell you what, he's going to be in the jacuzzi tonight, because I'm telling you, he has been taking a lot of Lobatos hits.
Well, it looks like right now on the sideline for Laramie, Jake Vegan is starting to warm up a little bit more.
And Dodd is going to come in now to replace Adair. He was shaken up a little bit, so it will be third down for Cheyenne Central. And obviously, I don't know if they're going to go for the field goal. If they get stopped, is this 4-down territory? Who knows? Empty backfield, we do know that. As McCleary right now sends Talich in motion from the far side to the near side, and back to pass goes McCleary. He steps, he throws, got a man wide open, touchdown! That'll be Brady Storbo. Check that, Brock Storbo. Brock Storbo making the grab, as it will be another touchdown for Cheyenne Central, as Brock Storbo was wide open, and McCleary nails him coming out of his tight end position too.
Well, and again, that similar play we saw at the 6-yard line when you got him open for a 55-yard run, catch and run. There, it's a very similar play.
46-0 our score. Tippett to attempt the PAT. And the placement is down. Kick is up through the uprights and good. Central 47, Laramie nothing. We're going to come back to a running clock after these words. A 60-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. Deep, and the kick will sail into the end zone. And unfortunately, the clock, no one gave the scorekeeper the
rule book,
the
I
rule
guess.
up there. Again, the clock should be rolling right now, but it's not. 47-0 our score, as Central again has a couple of touchdowns here in the third quarter. And right now we're going to see what's happening here as both teams are heading off to the sidelines here. So now the official that says a timeout was called by Cheyenne Central. I guess Central now will have that opportunity to put in some of the second liners in here, leading 47-0. What do you got?
A trifecta for Buell and Allmiller as they connect for their third touchdown. It's now 21-21, and Casper gets Natrona.
So with the timeout here, we're, again, Central's defense across the side as they are talking, again, to some of the – you're going to see some new shirts coming in there now for Cheyenne Central. For the Plainsmen, new quarterback will be in. That'll be Vegan. He will be the sophomore. Jake Vegan gets his first action tonight as he is a 6'3", 180-pound sophomore. So, again, some fresh faces in for Cheyenne Central. 47-0. Since the ball wasn't caught, I'm assuming that's why the clock did not start. I would think it'll be a running clock after this play. So first down and 10 as Vegan now will be the quarterback, as he'll have Nunn off to his right. Ball on the 20-yard line. Snap is back, handoff to Nunn. Nunn trying to get outside, cuts it back, and he'll pick up 5 to the 25-yard line. It will be second down for the Plainsmen.
Tripped up by a new defensive back, Cole Marks, on that.
Yeah, and again, we're going to be calling a lot of new names. As a matter of fact, if you look at the defensive side for Central, it's an entirely different defense. So with the Indians bringing in the second team now as Coach Apodaca takes his foot off the pedal. Vegan is back to pass. He'll swing it out. He gets it to Sell. Sell cuts it back against the grain. Still on his feet to the 30, 35-yard line. And he'll still be on his feet as he's driven out at around the 42-yard line, 41-yard line. Nice job that time by Isaac Sell. So the clock does remain running now, even though he went out of bounds. So for the Plainsmen, they will have the football on their own 41-yard line. Again, we are in a running clock situation. Central leading 47-0. I do believe we're starting to get some sprinkles again.
Yeah, I see some umbrellas start to come back out just below us here by the Laramie fans in attendance.
In motion is Kilpack on the fly sweep. He gets stretched out and goes outside, still on his feet, into territory of the Central Indians of the 49-yard line. He should have the first down. Nice 10-yard run by Kilpack.
Now starting to see, well, for Laramie, this is good. You kind of get some momentum. Granted, it gets the number twos of Central, but you need to find something to get your offense started.
So for the Plainsmen, they're on the Central side of the field, 49-yard line. First down and 10 again, 47-0 our score. It has been all Indians, and again, some great individual performances on the offensive side tonight, but also too, the Hosses up front will get a lot of credit from me as well. First down and 10 as Vegan sizes up the defense as he calls out the play. Back to pass. He's going to roll to his left, step up, throw up, and it's caught at the 40-yard line. That one kind of hung up in the air there a little bit.
It did. It looked like it was there for a little bit.
So it is caught by, it looks like Jackson Devine, the 5'10", 130-pound sophomore. He'll make the grab at the Central 40-yard line, and it'll be second down and 1. So, again, you look at the second teamers out there for Cheyenne Central getting some varsity experience, kind of a neat deal right now in a situation here at Risky Field. Vegan will hand off this time, and this will be Nunn. Nunn will have the first down. He's trying to drive forward, then he's wrapped up by a host of tacklers at the 36-yard line, and it'll be another fresh set of downs for the Plainsmen as we are about $1.50 into the end of this third quarter coming up. We say the 35 right now for the Plainsmen. And Plainsmen going right to left across your radio dial. Vegan, again, the sophomore, sizing up the defense as he now will go back to pass. Has plenty of time now, rolls to the left, and will lob it. He's got a man. That will be Nunn. A clip, and this will be coming back as Nunn gets inside the 5 down to the 4. 2 flags right around the 14-yard line, so that'll be, again, that spot foul, I do believe, and they're going to send them back. If, again, blocking the back, or was it a clip?
Yeah, we'll see what it was. It looks like he just not only did he kind of ride his back a little bit, but gave that shove at the very end as well.
Yeah, they're going to say a block in the back. So, again, from the 14, they're going to march it back to the 24 on the spot foul. So, as they walk it back, I've got to say the 20, so they're
still be a first down.
They're going to say the foul happened on the 9. They need to move it back 5 more yards. I think their math is off just a little bit here. Well, I guess they're going to let it go. Ball on the 19-yard line as we have just a few seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Back to pass goes Vegan. Vegan, plenty of time now, rolls to his left, rolling, still rolling, and now he'll keep it himself, and he will be dropped at the 16-yard line, and that should be the last play of the quarter. So for the Plainsmen, they'll say he's right in between the 16 and 17 as we have completed 3. Indians 47, Plainsmen nothing, but they're inside the red zone. We'll come back to a running clock in the fourth quarter after the 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Along with Chris Polton and Nick Proietti as we are atop at Risky Field. Right now the Plainsmen inside the 20-yard line. They're at the, looks like the 16, and it's going to be a second down call for the Plainsmen. They'll pitch it back this time to Coulter. Coulter's going to get outside, and he knocks over the pylon, but they're going to say no. They're going to say he's out at the 1-yard line. Nice run that time by Nunn as he gets pushed out. The pylon came flying out. Usually in the NFL, that's 6.
Yeah, unless he didn't didn't get the lunge in time, as may have knocked it down with his knee after he had fallen out. But
and again, this is the first team Plainsmen, along with their second team quarterback, going up against an entirely second team defense for Cheyenne Central. First down and goal, they'll hand it off to Nunn. Nunn wrapped up, and did he break the plane? Touchdown. So the Plainsmen get on the board as it's 47-6 with 11:15 to go in the contest. So Tangeman will come on to kick the PAT. It'll be out of the hold of Dodd. And for the touchdown, that stops the clock. So Tangeman now will try to put the PAT through. Again, Dodd on his knee, calls for the ball, places it down, kick is up, and it dribbles on through and good. 47-7 our score, 11:15 left on the Pepsi scoreboard, and we'll have the kickoff after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. It will be Tangeman to boot it away. Back deep will be both Johnson and Talich. Do you expect an onside kick? Who knows? We'll see what happens here. As Tangeman has it teed up, he will approach the football, put a foot into it, high end over end, and it will come down into the hands of Talich at the 7 as he gets to the outside of the 10, breaks one tackle, wrapped up by another one, gets away from 2 other tacklers, and then is dropped down around, looks like the 14-yard line. So let's see what Central will come out offensively here. And again, you see the likes of, we see an injury down on the field too. That's not a good sight to see.
I wonder if he had a misstep on the turf, Aaron.
I'm not sure who that is. I don't know if that's Eaton, who was stiff-armed by Talich, if that's the one that's down.
Well, he's right now on his hip and in a lot of pain as well. So right now the medical staff out there to attend to him, as both teams now will head to the respective sidelines. So I'm venturing to say, and I'm looking across the way for Cheyenne Central, you're going to see a whole bunch of new bodies in there as well, second teamers.
Well, quickly look at the scoreboard while we wait to see what's going on at the fields. Rock Springs, it's a final 50-0 over Cheyenne South. That was over at Fight Bison Stadium. We're knotted up at 21s in Casper, Natrona, and Cheyenne East in the third quarter. A battle there once again for the Thunderbirds. Sheridan now in control against Kelly Walsh, 35-10. That's in the fourth quarter. Thunder Basin also well into control as the number 1 team in Class 4A. Looks to stay unblemished, up 35-7 over Campbell County.
And the Central Indians well on their way to picking up their 3rd consecutive victory. As, again, they and to be real honest, guys, as I look at both you and Nick right now, this one here will also clinch a playoff spot for them.
Absolutely. And then,
3 wins usually get you into the dance, so at least the Indians can say that they're dancing.
Right, and one of the things we had talked about before this game had started, if Central wants the chance to crack the top 4, this is a game you have to win, and you have to upset one of the top 4 teams, whether that be East or Natrona, who they still have.
You have 2 more chances left at it to get into that top 4. And the whole idea of getting into the top 4 is you host that first round game.
And for a team that's under second-year head coach Mike Apodaca, as you said, that would really put them ahead of the game, because really Coach Apodaca didn't have a lot of time to input his offense or really get to know his playmakers all that well to start the season. Now this year had a chance to have a full off season. You're starting to see that a little bit better go for his team as we're in week 4.
That's Caleb Eaton, who's being assisted off the field right now, and he's not putting any weight on that right foot. So whether it's a knee or an ankle, I don't know. But that hopefully is not a serious injury.
Burns at halftime up 28-7 over number 3 Wheatland, and it's Pine Bluffs and Tongue River in the third quarter tied up at 13 apiece.
Feeser, your new quarterback for Cheyenne Central, the freshman, as he will hand it off to a fresh set of backs, as we will try to keep you updated carrying the football for the Cheyenne Central Indians. So for the Indians and carrying the football was Jackson Davis. He is a sophomore, 5'7", 162. Don't expect the Indians to throw much.
You would think not at this point.
And again, they'll keep it on the ground on first down yardage. And carrying the football for the Indians that time, looks like that was Charlie Nichols. He's a 5'10", 165-pound sophomore. So, again, Central moving the ball rather nicely against the Plainsmen. Here again with the second unit, as they have the ball right now at the 27-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Indians. Feeser, this time he'll throw, and incomplete. He tried to hook up that time. I was surprised that they actually threw it, but again, trying to hook up with Cole Marks, the junior, the 5'8", 120-pound junior.
And the clock is still running.
So I guess since we reached that 45-point mark earlier, I guess that will be the instance to keep it running no matter what now. Again, too, you also credit Cheyenne Central on the other side for, again, taking the foot off the pedal and putting in their reserves. They'll pitch it back this time, and Nichols will be dropped for a loss to the 26-yard line. Loss of 1 on the play. Another quarterback that was in there, by the way, that was Matt Shake. He's a 5'10", 145-pound junior. So, again, we're trying to go to our roster as often as we can, too.
Yeah, going deep into the
He's
depth
going
chart
really
here.
deep. If you want to get a varsity letter, today is the day to get it.
Right, absolutely.
Fieser will come back in, as he will have Nichols in the backfield behind him. Pepsi scoreboard right now, under 9 minutes to go. 3rd down for the Indians. And this time Fieser will roll to his right, the freshman, and he'll be dropped for a big loss. As Fieser, the freshman, he is dropped on his wallet back at the 15-yard line, so it'll be 4th down for the Indians, something they haven't really done tonight. Punt.
Cooper Gary's the one that gets the credit for the sack there.
So this will be Cheyenne Central's first punt of the night. That will be Johnson dropping back deep for Cheyenne Central. He will be right around his 1-yard line. And for the
looks like Alex, the up back, saying we need one more guy out here.
it looks like Tangeman will be standing around his 50-yard line for the Plainsmen as they're anticipating some good field position, trying to close down the ranks. Snap is back. It's a low snap, and it's booted away by Johnson. Low, and it will take an Indians bounce as Tangeman will pick it up at the 37-yard line and then step out at the 45. So it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Plainsmen. Tick, tick, tick. No, the clock stopped now.
I guess we're just going to go. Well, change of possession. Maybe that would be the only thing. Oh, it didn't change last time.
It didn't do last week, yeah. So I guess different rules, different houses, huh?
Yeah. Just
well, and see, I thought once the Plainsmen scored, it went back to regular rules. That's what it should have done. So for the Plainsmen, they will have the football, and it will be 1st down and 10 at their own 46-yard line. So for Laramie, again, Vegan is now at quarterback as he replaces Dodd. And the snap is back, handed off to Sell. Sell straight ahead, breaks 1 tackle, still on his feet, and into Indian territory as he is at the 44-yard line. That'll be enough for the 1st down, 10 yards on the run.
So again, with the second unit in for Central, one of the things you are noticing, Larry, is that the first guy's not wrapping up as well.
Exactly. I was going to say that too. You're not seeing the aggressiveness as you saw with the first liners in. But again, this is a chance now to see what it's like to be on the varsity side. Vegan calls his own number, and he will drive down to the 39-yard line to pick up a 5 on the play, and it's 2nd down and 5. So for the Plainsmen, they'll quickly line it up. Central again shuffling in more bodies. Again, as they have a lot of kids suited up for tonight's game. So with Vegan is back to pass. He steps, he throws over the middle, and that will be incomplete as he was trying to hook up quickly with Jackson Devine, and that will be incomplete. Threw it over his head. Devine stands with about 5. What do they list him as? 5'10". He looks like he's about 5'7" because that pass was about 6'12".
Slater Bates.
Or 6'11", I should say.
Yeah, and Slater Bates with the coverage there for Central is now as Nick pointed out, the clock is running once again.
Well, I'm confused on how they're doing all this. Kilpack now on the little fly sweep. He will be dropped, and he'll be short of the 1st down as he will be dropped at the 36-yard line. So for Plainsmen, obviously it's 4-down territory, 4th down and long 2, and we'll see Laramie continue on with the football here.
Good tackle there by Cole Marks, holding the containment on the outside and wrapping up. One of the rare times, Larry, we saw the the first guy make the tackle with the second unit out.
So this time Vegan will give it off to Sell. Sell will have the 1st down and more as he slips away from 1, 2 tackles and then cuts back against the grain, and he will continue to move the pack forward inside the 20 down to the 18. For Cheyenne Central, they should have had him. Cole Marks did not get a wrap-up on him.
Not that time.
At the 36-yard line.
Not that time, as Sell was able to break through. That's good hard running in high knees. That's, you know, when you warm up, you see everyone go high knees, and that time you see why you do that, because as you go through the trenches there, you need those.
The ball's on the 17-yard line, as again Vegan now will go back to pass. He'll swing it out and overshoot. Kilpack incomplete. Kilpack tried to chase it down, as you remember what happened in the first quarter on a pass from Dodd. So it'll be second down. As again, kind of confused on the way the clock's been operated here during this.
Well, my only guess is that they stopped it for the change of possession, and that's it. So maybe the first time they didn't stop it when they should have, when Central got the ball back. But who knows?
And last week it did not stop. Once it got to that time, it went all the way down. It'll be Vegan calling his own number. Yes, he rolls to his left, rolling under heavy rush now, gets away from the pressure and escapes from two tacklers. He comes to the right side looking for the touchdown in the end zone, and it'll be incomplete as he overthrows Devine. And again, a little long and strong on the throw, but I'll tell you what, a little bit of Fran Tarkington scrambling back there.
Went back and forth, went to the Central sideline, came back to the Laramie sideline, tried to throw it across his body and out through his, as you said, the kind of the shorter receiver in Jackson Devine.
Those younger guys, welcome to varsity football, as they were running all over the place on that one. So it'll be third down, as it will be Sell coming back into the backfield with Vegan. As Vegan looks over and he'll give it off to Sell. Sell will go all the way in for the touchdown, 16-yard touchdown. So for the Plainsmen, they will add another score against the second-teamers of Cheyenne Central, and it's 47-13. And again, I say the second-teamers because, again, the Indians well in charge of this game, 47-0, and Coach Apodaca said, hey, you know what, we're going to give everybody a shot at playing tonight.
And you got to like that, too, if you're Coach Apodaca. At this point, none of this really is going to affect you. Of course, you don't really have a, however many points you win by.
No,
it doesn't help you
if you're in a tiebreaker situation, how did you do with that team that you were tied with? Right. As Tangeman will put the PAT through. 3:26 to go. It's 47-14 in favor of the War Tribe. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE.
College. It's filled with classrooms, instructors, and exams. But beyond that, it's filled with curiosity, budding friendships, insightful conversations, and so many opportunities. There will be people like you, and you, and you. You'll work, you'll play, you'll struggle, and you'll succeed. But when you allow yourself to pursue your dreams, you'll learn what you're truly made of.
Our score, we're with the Indians again next Friday night. We'll be at Harry Gelding Stadium, as it will be the War Tribe and the Casper Kelly Walsh Trojans. And again, on that drive up next week, the Indians got to feel really good about themselves. And currently, on a 3-game win streak, things have been going pretty good for the Central Indians lately.
Especially with both first teams out there. If you just have the first team against first team, this game is 47-0. So a lot of big positives for Coach Apodaca.
Uriah Furrow and Cole Marks, and it will come down to the hands of Furrow at the 11-yard line to the 20. And he is still on his feet, 30-yard line, as he will be down at the 32 for Cheyenne Central. So it'll be first down and 10.
So they stopped the clock for the kickoff, but now once the kick was put off, they start the clock and then don't stop it again. So I don't know if there's a rule book of some kind that can explain this, but it just doesn't make sense at this point.
Like I said, the rules differentiate at different houses, that's for sure. So for the Cheyenne Central Indians, they will have the football. Again, the clock still is rolling at 47-14, as the Indians did make that score 47-0 about midway through the third quarter. So we're going to look at more Central changes. In at quarterback for the Indians will be Matt Shake. As Shake now will take his time, as he will hand it off to yet another Indian running back to off tackle. And let's see if he got a yard or so.
I believe that's Michael France on the attempt.
So put a little plug in for France. He's a 5'9", 161-pound sophomore. So for the Indians, they are right now just trying to milk the clock as much as they can. 2-minute mark on the Pepsi scoreboard. Back in again is Feeser, 6'4", 180-pound freshman. As he's back to pass. Pump fakes, and the protection breaks down. Feeser on the run as he will be driven out hard and slammed down around the 32-yard line for Cheyenne Central. Maybe a yard on the run by Feeser, the freshman, as they alternate quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think what Coach Apodaca is doing is he's giving the quarterback the play, and then they come in and relay the play to the team. Then that's why we're seeing all the different substitutions with the second and third string quarterback.
Ball
here.
at the 33, 2-yard gain for Feeser. Shake comes back in. As Shake, again, waits as long as he can as he operates out of the gun. Now we'll ask for the ball, and we'll roll to his right. And he's going to step up. He's going to throw long, and he's got a man incomplete as he tried to hook up with Marks at around the 35-yard line of the Plainsmen. Nice throw by Shake.
It was, and Marks with a decent chance of trying to get after it. And Larry, the question I'll ask you, though, at the fourth and I know it's the fourth and long, but throwing the ball downfield, we saw that with Kelly Walsh against South. And it didn't sit well with.
Yeah, not a fan of that. You should just be running out the clock. But the Indians, that's where they make their money. They have not hid that all night long. Johnson will boot it away, and back deep will be Tangeman. He'll stand around his 35-yard line. Just a few ticks left on the clock here, as the Indians right now are in no hurry to boot it away. As the snap is back, it's a bad snap, and he'll get it off the left footer as Sal will let it bounce by him, and that will end the ball game as the Indians will down it at the 23-yard line. Final score, Cheyenne Central, as they have a romp over the Plainsmen tonight by the count of 47-14. We're going to be back to Milt Risky Field after a 2-minute timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. Back to Risky Field, final score 47-14 as the Indians have picked up their third consecutive win. They go to 3-2, and again, like I said earlier, this being the fifth game in week 4 for the Indians. They're pretty much in good shape in that number 5 hole for the upcoming playoffs, which we still have another month to go. Plainsmen, on the other hand, now they do hold a tiebreaker over Casper Kelly Walsh, but they're going to need to get another win. They got South still to come on their schedule. They lost to Gillette, so
right.
there's a lot of things that could hinder the Plainsmen to get into the playoffs right now. So again, what we're looking at for the Laramie Plainsmen, they're going to have to get that second win and maybe try to find a third win somewhere. I just don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah, and for Laramie, they're kind of in a similar situation where Central was in last year, where they had to beat South in order to get that last spot. I believe they either finished 7th or 8th, but they still had to start on the road. Laramie in a very similar situation where it may come down to that South game to where they finish, if they can kind of not be in the bottom 2. Of course, they'll need Gillette to not win another game either, because if they are tied, then Gillette has that tiebreaker over the Plainsmen.
So, and it's interesting too, as you look at all of these scenarios. And again, this is only the 5th game of the season, but you sit here and you look at Cheyenne Central right now, 3-2. They go to Casper Kelly Walsh. Now, as we sit here tonight, we should say that the Indians should take care of business at Harry Gilding Stadium next Friday. Then they come back home, technically, to the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex and will face Cheyenne East. That one could be a barn burner. And the reason why I say that, and I do believe that the showers are starting to come down again just in time for the game to be over. But if the Indians can come back next Friday night with that win against Casper Kelly Walsh, which we'll have that game for you next Friday night from Harry Gilding Stadium. Boy, that really sizes up that East matchup. I know East was in a Donnybrook with Casper Natrona, and Eastern's already got 1 loss this season, could have 2.
Right, well, it's 28-21 after 3 quarters, too, for Natrona. So, if East loses this game and then let's say both teams win, that game, which is a homecoming game for East against Central at Okie Blanchard, that's going to be the biggest game in a long time between 2 crosstown rivals that have home field
and has serious playoff implications. So
home field playoff implications.
But right now too, and we come back here after week 2 when we saw them lose to Sheridan, and again, they played okay. I think. They gave up too many home runs in that contest against Sheridan, especially in the second half. We also had that delay. But, you sit back and you look at since Sheridan, this team has been playing just nails right now.
Yeah, and again, you can say that this Central team was better than the team we saw against Sheridan.
Right.
And if they continue to get better week in, week out, they're going to start posing problems for other Class 4A teams as we got some
Well, we're going to take a timeout here, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Coach Mike Apodaca and Tanner Bullock, one of our stars on the defensive side tonight for Cheyenne Central. Again, the Indians win 47-14 over the Plainsmen. We're back after the 60-second timeout.
Risky field again, 47-14. The Indians with the win over the Plainsmen. Now joined alongside Tanner Bullock. We were talking right before we came on. How nice is it where you can only have to worry about one side of the ball and just really use all your energy on one side of the ball?
It's so nice. I really like it a lot. It's I can use all my energy for that side of the ball, and I can just get crap done. I can do stuff. I can just do whatever I need to do. The
front four tonight, just on defense, dominated the game. What was it about the scheme or just the kind of the will to make a statement tonight? What was it tonight that was the difference? I believe 7 sacks. Of course, you had the sack that led to the fumble to Lundberg for the touchdown. What was it tonight that just made it seem like you guys played on a different level?
We had the alumni come. That really helped out us and our mentality. Helped my mentality. It really put me in the way that I needed to get my crap done, and I needed to get my job done. We had John Godina talk to us. He's one of my big influences because he's a really great thrower, and I throw. So, what he said to us was, "Do your job."
Yeah.
And that's what you just got to do.
Kind of keep it simple sometimes and just trust the guy next to you. Now, this is the first time that you had a chance to go be on the sideline and watch your offense work. I mean, when it comes to the Storbo twins and Johnson on the outside, and it just kind of looks like McCleary's job's a little bit easier, being able to throw, and, of course, Talich as well. But how important is it as you are on the offensive line, to see the running game get going and see Lobatos get loose a little bit?
It made me so happy.
Right.
I was so excited to see my guys just work out there, and those are my boys. I really love to see them work hard and get stuff.
And then last question, it just seems like every week you guys just continue to get better and better and better. I'm sure Coach Apodaca says this on a weekly basis. It's all about just getting yourself better, so when it comes to playoff time, you guys are playing your best football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he puts us in the right mentality. We get crap done because of him, and he's a great influence for us.
All right, that's Tanner Bullock. A few sacks tonight. Also the fumble that led to the Lundberg touchdown. As we'll take a 30-second timeout, and we'll have Coach Mike Apodaca right here on 1480 KRAE.
On our post-game show now, we talk with Central Indians head coach Mike Apodaca. Coach, 3 in a row now you've reeled off with this Indians team, and just a step below perfect tonight. You had to be very, very excited about this team.
You know, I definitely like the way we came out of the gates. I thought that was really important, and didn't lose any intensity from last week, and played a pretty clean first half on both sides of the ball, so that was encouraging.
You know, the thing, too, and you know this being in the coaching game as well as being a former player, that running game, or in your case, your passing game, really opened up your running game today.
Well, we really do. We're relying on both of them, and what I thought is Dawson really was a great game manager tonight, and put us in positions where we were right, and he's doing a heck of a job in that.
You know, your Haas is up front again, all underclassmen, and I'm telling you, they gave Dawson plenty of time tonight. Even if he had to roll out of the pocket, Carter made some big plays, especially once he got through the initial blocks. I'll tell you what, that front 5 up there really is making your life a lot easier too.
What's fun is to see them starting to take ownership of the position, and they're starting to get used to playing together, and really take real ownership and keeping Dawson upright and opening something up for Carter, and then Carter's feeding off that and starting to get downhill a little bit and putting his shoulder down, so it's good to see.
And the nice thing too, and again, winning big is always a fun thing to do, but the class being showed by taking your foot off the pedal, and you got a lot of younger guys, they got a chance to get some varsity experience. That's always a nice thing to see on the field as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of that development of the program is getting those young kids some opportunities under the lights. So, when it does happen a little bit more regularly from them, in the future, that, it's not such a big stage. So proud of the way they come out to work every week, and glad they got an opportunity.
Casper Kelly Walsh got to go up to Harry Geldine Stadium again. Another one of those enigma teams. They look really good against Cheyenne South, but then again, they haven't really played top-notch football. So again, it could be an ambush game for you, or one of those things that you got to get to these guys and get on the jugular right away.
Well, it's really important. Now that they're 6 weeks in, new coach was there last year. You're just finally starting to feel like your system's starting to look right, and we're catching them a little bit later in the season. So I expect with that option, we're going to have to be really clean on the defensive side of the ball and our keys and reads. And offensively, I think the best thing for our defense right now is getting points early and taking a little pressure off the defense. So it's important that our offense gets going.
And the final thought, too, going back to the defensive side as well, with the option offense that they offer up there at Casper Kelly Walsh. And I think you got a good clue tonight from your defense. It's now swarming, and you don't have just one guy grabbing. You got gang tackling now.
Yeah, and it's just so important that we're clean defensively on those keys and reads, because you start not doing your job and you'll get exposed fast. So it'll be a big week for our defense, especially. And again, we're starting to get healthy, and so hopefully that will lead to some success that way too.
Coach Mike Apodaca join us on our postgame show. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. We'll come back with more after these words on 1480 KRAE. Really, what would have been an outcome if the rains had come earlier, but boy, I'll tell you what, the game ended at the right time.
It did.
Because the rains came down here at Risky Field. Luckily, no lightning in the sky, so that's a nice thing to see. Anyway, Chris Polton to the right of me. Again, I want to thank Nick Proietti, too, for the visual side. Again, the YouTube and Periscope via Twitter. But you have some stats. You also have some other scores going on, so I'll let you go stats, and then we'll go.
Yeah, we'll start with
numbers.
this game here. Dawson McCleary, great night, 22 of 31. His last pass, a touchdown pass. He tallied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdown passes. Who did have the one pick, but again, a much better ratio as far as 5 touchdowns and the one pick for Dawson McCleary. And Labados with a massive game, 15 carries, 154 yards. He also chipped in with a 5-yard touchdown run. As far as the receiving goes, Brady Storbo, 3 catches, 35 yards. He had a touchdown. Brock Storbo, 8 catches, 128 yards. He had a touchdown. 9 catches, 93 yards with 2 touchdowns for Johnson. And then Talich, 2 catches, 29 yards and a touchdown. So not only is
good distribution.
Right. Not only did he throw 5 touchdowns, but hit 4 different receivers on those touchdowns. Of course, we talked to Tanner Bullock. He had a few sacks. One of them led to a late Nate Lumberg scoop and score in that first quarter. That was right after that interception too. So really, when you think about it, Laramie could have seized a little bit of momentum after that quick drive by Central to start the game, but instead that front four, as you were talking to Coach Apodaca and I was talking to Tanner Bullock, the trenches were won by Central.
They dominated LOS all night long. All right, let's go to our scoreboard here before we get ready to wrap things up. So go ahead and let us know that the Thunderbirds at least are coming back.
It is the 4th time Buell and Allmiller has connected. It's now 28-28. There's 6:16 left to play over at Natrona. Sheridan well in hand at this point, 42-10 over Kelly Walsh. That's in the third quarter, and Thunder Basin still in the third quarter, 45-7. All those games started at 7 o'clock. Here we are.
we're
winding down.
We want to remind you, next Friday evening, we will be at Harry Gilding Stadium. Nick Proietti and myself, as we will have the game for you again. We'll also live stream it, YouTube for you, as well as Periscope via Twitter, 1480 KRAE 101.1 FM, and 1480KRAE.com. We'll be with Coach Apodaca's War Tribe as they will be taking on the Casper Keller Walsh Trojans. That's the last time that you're going to get the miss.
That's right. That's the last one.
Then you got to be with us the rest of the season.
Hey, I'm in.
Real quick, we want to say some thank yous here again to all our wonderful sponsors: MHP LLP, Lennox Auto Body, Little Philly, Mary's Mountain Cookies, Medicap Pharmacy, Meridian Trust FCU, Merritt Plumbing and Heating, Page and Zach Lane at Number One Properties, Pepsi of Cheyenne, Pete's Builders, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, the Gill Window Company, Wyoming Department of Transportation, Arrow Moving and Storage, B&B Appliance and TV, Baskin Robbins, Billy Adelman with the LCCC Flight Crew, the Bread Basket Bakery, Burns Insurance Company, Kuzma Success Realty, Capital Lumber Company, Charles Schwab, Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, Chick-fil-A, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, First Education Federal Credit Union, Foot of the Rockies, Halliday Motors, High West Energy, Joe Ed Produce, Kia of Cheyenne, LCCC, Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, the Injury Prevention Program, and we also want to thank First Tier Bank. So, on behalf of all of us up here, Nick Proietti, Chris Polton, our engineer back at the house, doing another great job once again. Troa Elbert Armstrong. I'm Larry Proietti signing off here from Milt Risky Field. Once again, the final score: Cheyenne Central now 3-2 in the season. They win going away 47-14 over the Laramie Plainsmen, who dropped to now 1-4. With that all being said, we now return to regular programming on 1480 KRAE. Good night.